Okay, guys, here we go. Yeah, Charmaine's in the house. Welcome back, Missy. I missed you.
Hi, I missed you too. A
Some other
lot.
people missed you. Charmaine finally, she had a visit from the Fandango, eh?
The whole family in a house with no running water. I had an outhouse there and I had buckets to pour water into the toilet, but they all knew what they were getting into. I, however, underestimated what I was getting into, but it was
Right.
good. They lasted 5 days, and then my two oldest grandchildren, they're 8 and 4. They stayed with me for an extra 5 days. And yeah, they all went home this morning. So I got a shower. So that was amazing. A real shower, ladies. You know what that means. I've showered all week, but I haven't had an everything shower in 10 days. So that was good. Hot as I'll get out here. It's my air conditioner's not even helping. And if I'm playing with my hair, I'm not self-grooming. It's still wet. So if I don't move it, it dries weird. So I have to move it. So Hi,
Anyway, I love having you back on here, of course, and people were missing you too. Remember, Charmaine got me this mug that says, what was it? I'd shank a bitch for you right in the kidney. She would. She absolutely would. With the pendulum. The pendulum.
Let's try it with the pendulum. Yeah, with the pendulum.
All right. Someone's having a birthday? Who's having birthdays?
It seems like Lily's having a birthday. Happy birthday, Lily.
64. That's a lie, Lily. You know it's 99. You're just coming down years. You've been coming down years for a few there, it looks like. Women know that we all stop at 29. Right, Charmaine? You couldn't even really hang with me on my birthday either. You know.
No, but I didn't forget your birthday.
Which I thought, you know what, to be honest with you, there was a little piece of me that go, thanks, Charmaine, for my birthday.
I would never forget your birthday. It was actually because I ordered your gift and then I got super busy, so I wasn't tracking it or anything. And then I was like, wait a minute, what day is it today? And I looked down and I checked my calendar. I was like, oh, it's the 3rd. So I just thought, okay, well, I'll say happy birthday to her because I assumed you would have got your gift already. And then you were like, I thought you forgot my birthday. So I guess you didn't get my gift then.
Right. And Alexa was on here the other day.
I saw the thumbnail, but I haven't had, I've rewatched some of them. I caught your live when Lauren joined you the other night because that was late enough. But other than that, I've caught bits and pieces of replays. I've been doing my best.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you guys know that I put out a tribute video and then for some reason YouTube must have been glitching and I looked at it and I'm like, what do you mean no comments? And it even said that it's not for kids because, if you mark it as that it's for kids, right? Obviously the comments get turned off. So I had to re-upload it after already at that point, a few minutes, 80 people had already looked at it already. And I was like, YouTube messing with me. Must be Lily and her temper is what it is. Not the birthday Lily. We're talking about Lily and Jack. So we're going to get started into this right away. Pull out some tissues because the first thing I'm going to play for you guys is that awareness video. And Belinda, in this particular video, I did add you and Alana in that picture that you sent me earlier. So I did throw that in this one, but unfortunately the uploaded one, I can't change that on there. So you guys, make sure you guys smash that button. Belinda's in the house. I'm not sure who else. Joe, well, got to call out Joe. There's Sassy Pants right there on there. Truth and Beauty. Nice to see you, Mama. Native Girls in the house. Lily. Sister Lily we're talking about that's having a birthday.
That's the one.
Yeah. You should have lied about your age. Yeah, you should have put yourself as younger than me, not older. Anyways, happy birthday, Lily. I would sing happy birthday to you, but my best rendition that I do is, what's that lady again? Marilyn Monroe. Because, I'm not...
happy birthday.
Maybe I should play Kent's one that he sung to me.
The cartoon one that we played for Kent. The cartoon one that we Kent.
He sang to me in a message, Kent did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, you didn't hear it. See, you're too busy, man.
I didn't hear it. I feel
Okay.
bad.
So there's 300. This is going to be a whopper live. I'm telling you. I'm ready to go on this one today. I'm tired of the BS and the lies, and I'm ready to put my thoughts forward for sure today. Because honestly, I'm just really sick of the lies now. And I want to thank, of course, all you guys for everything that you guys keep doing by spreading the awareness of Jack and Lily and hitting that like button, the share button. Let me just check, you guys, how many likes we have. 115. Come on now, guys. 314 people in here. Come on, look at nobody is even from Twitter. It's all you guys in here. Okay. Can you guys really go ahead and just smash that button before we get into it? Or else I'm probably going to stop and do my nails, I think. I know I don't do my nails, but I might consider it today. No. Happy Sunday. I just got off work, actually. Tomorrow I can't do a live, or Tuesday, because I'm working 12 to 8 shift. So going to get this one in again. I've been powerhousing this weekend, Charmaine, with freaking lives.
One day you did 2.
I know, right?
And they were both long. Yeah.
I did 2 both days, 2. Yeah. Who is, oh, right. Alana wants to know who is Annette that sent me $10. Can you please email Alana King _8229 at hotmail.com? If you don't remember that, we'll put it in the chat there. Alana got the link. She can drop her email there. Hi, Chelsea. Hi, that's of course Belinda's daughter, if you didn't know. I think it was really towards me. A little bit, yeah. I feel like the sunny just stood out a little bit more. Right, Chelsea.
I think so too. Which, fair enough. I've been gone for a week. Mm-hmm. So.
I don't even think Chelsea remembered who you were up until she saw your name. Charmaine's back.
Totally.
Yeah. So whoever Annette is for Alana, I feel like I need to pull out a bullhorn, Betty Bullhorn. Attention, Annette. Attention, Annette. Alana needs you to email her at Alana King _8229 at Hotmail. No, Gmail. Shit. Gmail. I almost said Hotmail there.
That's Hotmail.
Okay.
That's Hotmail.
Okay. Now, again, hi, little Miss Muffin Top. How are you? Sharon Parker's in the house. Okay, you guys, don't forget, keep it classy, keep it nice, and keep it respectful, or the mods will simply take you out of here. Simple as that, right? We're all here for the caring part for Jack and Lily and to be nice and kind to one another. I don't know if I can preach that enough to us. And we can joke around, but have respect when it comes to talking with other people, okay? Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll just get started here quickly with the video, Charmaine. I'm going to play the tribute video. Okay, you guys, I know it's sad, but you know, the whole point of it is, of course, this is about Jack and Lily, okay? And regardless of the outcome in this case, right, we want to keep this about Jack and Lily and answers. That's what we want. And there's Alana King's email, right? Oh, it is Hotmail. Okay, Hotmail, Charmaine, Hotmail. Okay, so there you go, Hotmail. I don't know. See, I was right when I was going to say Hotmail. Okay, so I'm going to play that first, you guys. So let me just grab that video. And if you guys could do me a favor, later on, can you guys go over to the video that I put out separately for the awareness and tribute to Lily and Jack, and just give it a like and a share if you could, you know, if you guys could do that for me. You don't need to leave a comment, but just put it out there if you could. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so video file. Actually, hold on a second. I'm going to take off the banner for this. One sec, guys, and then we're gonna get right into it. To be honest with you, so we'll take that off for a minute, and I'll take this off. Hold on, video file. From It's a Crime and Shame, and someone had sent me this beautiful song called "Come Home, Jack and Lily," and I wanted to do Belinda. And I wanted to do Alana King and all you guys out there, this beautiful little video to attach to it. Thank you so much for the person who wrote the poem. Thank you for fighting for Jack and Lily's army. Please hit the like and the share. Thank you so much.
In the quiet dawn of a May morning, two little hearts went out to play. Lily's laughter, Jack's small footsteps vanished with the breaking day. Come home, Jack and Lily. We're praying for your steer. The woods are deep and silent, but our love will draw you near. Through forest paths and endless trees, searchers called your names aloud. Hope flickered in the morning breeze as prayers rose up to the clouds. Jack and Lily, we're praying for your steer. The woods are deep and silent, but our love will draw you near. Sunsets over Pictou County, stars shine with gentle grace. The community holds a vigil, longing for your embrace. Come home, Jack and Lily. We're praying for your steer. The woods are deep and silent, but our love will draw you near.
Okay. Oh, where's Charmaine? Sorry, I left you hanging down there.
Not used to me being here anymore.
I know, on there. So, again, you guys, so I added more to the video from last night. I just added some more transitions and a few more things in there, plus the picture of Alana and, of course, Belinda. I'm not sure who the third person is, but anyways, you guys, thank you so much again for caring about Jack and Lily. And I'm sorry, Brandy, but don't let the freaking, door hit you on the way out when I booted your butt. Have a good day. Anyone that even speaks like that in here, I was going to say, you can watch from afar without being able to chat then. Yes, we can do that. Song was so special, so we're not going to entertain. So you guys, again, mods, if there's anyone rude in here, Belinda, you have the power to boot someone. You just click what they said on their thing. There's 3 little dots there, and you just go boot, ban on there. Anyways, yeah. So Jack and Lily, you guys, this is what it's all about. Now, don't forget here, and like I said, we're going to get into it in just a minute. Don't worry about that, okay? And so, as well, we're gonna go to Chrome tab. Let's find that home. Okay. So don't forget about this site right here, guys. This is the fundraiser to help find Jack and Lily. If you have any tips, you can leave tips there as well. So I'm going to post that. The link comes up through, like you can see it right here, actually. Okay, so it's coming up right there. So if you want to support, buy bracelets, buy decals, buy keychains, all that stuff, use the GoFundMe. And then don't forget to email Alana at the Alana King _8229 at hotmail.com. But I think there's an email that's actually on there. That's a Jack and Lily email as well, if I'm not mistaken, on there. So it was a very sweet song by Russell McDonald. You guys, someone had sent it to me about a week ago, which was Sunshine on a Rainy Day. And then I remember we were listening to it and we're like, I'm not sure that actually applies. We thought it was actually at first somebody that was using Jack and Lily as to listen to their song. And then I seen Alana put it in the messenger, and I listened to it again. And then I was like, yeah, definitely about Jack and Lily. And then went to Belinda's Facebook page and I saw she had it there, which prompted me to want to do something special with that song for Jack and Lily, more awareness. I want the impact of Jack and Lily, right? Because this is exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about two beautiful children right before you here who deserve answers, right? They deserve answers to what happened to Jack and Lily. So regardless of, again, what the outcome is, the fundraiser will be for buddy benches for Jack and Lily. And if the children are found alive, then obviously it will go towards the children. Okay, guys? So don't forget, thank you guys for being here. And Charmaine, did you want to say anything before we kind of get going here?
No, just such a nice video, and Jack and Lily, and Jack and Lily, and Jack and Lily, and Jack and Lily.
Jack and Lily. Jack and Lily. Yeah.
That's probably one of the dumbest things I've seen.
Yeah. Hey,
just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So rude. But, those people exist in this orbit, sadly. Too bad we couldn't send them off to a different planet where they belong. Seriously. Right?
Yeah.
But anyway, let's crack this case now. Vanessa, I'm warning you right now. You're going to want to plug your ears. You maybe want to come back and watch it live, because what I have to say tonight is not going to be too pretty. Okay? You're not going to like it. And that's okay, because you don't have to. But I'm going to tell you exactly what I think tonight. And to me, like I said, I'm going to lay it on out there. Hi, Travis. Travis is our lawyer out of Texas. Hey, Travis, were you affected by that flood that was going on out there in Texas? It's crazy. Right, native girl. We don't care about people like that anyway. Okay. But thank you guys. Vanessa. Fangirling. Yeah, Belinda, have you spoke to Malaya recently? Well, I guess Belinda can answer that for you if she wants, because she is in here. I haven't actually asked her recently. I think Malaya probably stopped. Okay.
Young girls missing in Texas. Is that because of what just happened, or?
Well, there was a big flood, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
Well, just the way that's put 21 young girls missing. Like, is that from like a girls' school or like?
In Texas, yeah. Big tragedy over there going on. Okay. Hello, Carla. How are you today? She won't answer. Right. And that, you know what? There was going to be a point where she wouldn't, to be honest with you. And again, what does Belinda have to lose? She had nothing to lose and everything to gain, to be honest with you. What I like about all this, Charmaine, is that people are coming out of the woodwork. And this is truly actually because, in a lot of it, because Darren's been stirring the pot. And then, you know how egos are, right? People don't like to be told that they're liars, or someone of one side coming out and start saying stuff like Logan, and then Haley coming out and saying, wait a second here. Logan left out an important detail there. But So you guys, so this is what we're gonna do, okay? Um, because Charmaine's been away with her family, I'm gonna play Haley's clip first, and this is thank you to the channel. And she knows she left a message when I left a message on her thing. She said she's been giving me shout outs. I've been giving her shout outs. Okay, so Hidden Fog, okay, Hidden in the Fog. She is the one from TikTok. Okay, so again, go sub up because when she's had Logan on, Cheryl and Logan on, and then Haley on. Okay. And so obviously she knows the channel that Belinda's been on here, Darren's been on here, and people are starting to speak out. But what what I feel after thinking about a lot of things is that I really feel like I might have a basis of what this is really all about. But we'll get into that. But I want to give it kudos to Hidden in the Fog again. So just like I got a what do you want to call it, notification, you guys go over, sub up to her. She's the one from TikTok, right? That she has a YouTube channel. And if you guys want to get those notifications whenever somebody else speaks up, then go over there. Okay, guys? But what we're going to do is I'm going to play for Charmaine. We're going to play Haley's video. And then I'm going to play the other one. I'm going to play the one where I've played a couple times now about Darren speaking about what Daniel told him about the blanket and that part right there, okay? And so listen very closely, of course, you guys, about this whole blanket stuff and more, and the drugs and whatever, okay? So we're going to start off, Charmaine, with Hidden in the Fog's video here. Let's see here. Let me just pull that sucker up. Okay. Present, share. Okay. So this notification, like I said, came out the other day, you guys. Thank you so much for supporting this channel again. This channel's and Dolly's channel and Hidden in the Fog's channel are really the people that have been having people speak on, from within the family and stuff like that. So thank you guys for supporting the channels of anyone actually that covers Lily and Jack. Oh, Brandy, did you hate that I said that? Sorry, Lily and Jack on there. So let's play this, Charmaine. And we'll start from the beginning, of course. Make sure the booster juice is up. It is. Okay.
Who basically identified and said, yes, that looks like it could be Lily's blanket. Oh, here she comes. Good. It's much better if somebody who was there actually. Welcome, Haley.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah, so just touching on the subject of the blanket. I've kept pretty quiet. I have a son of my own, right? Lily and Jack are my niece and nephew. But yeah, the subject of the blanket, it was found on a tree branch on Lansdowne Station Road in the evening of day one. Okay. It was used, or the other part of the blanket was used for a window or a door at the home, and it was thrown out. And this one just ended up on a tree, I guess. But yeah.
Interesting. And so you guys, I understand one of you took a photograph of the blanket and took it back to Malaya for identification?
Yes, Hayden and I did. Yeah.
Okay. And then she said, yeah, it is. And so you called the police who went and, I guess, collected it?
Yeah, no, the police were already down searching that area, but it was in such an open spot that cops were already down there and it wasn't seen earlier on. So it's just all a little mysterious,
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So was search and rescue in that area?
I don't believe on day one right down there right away. So I was there from the get-go of when everything started. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I don't know how it was missed because it was right on like the start of like a logging road or ATV trail right by the main Lansdowne Station Road, the dirt road. But yeah.
Okay. All right. And the other half, right, was found in the garbage.
I believe so. I wasn't back at the house for that to know that, but that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, that's what Logan said. And yeah, so.
Which is really peculiar, right? Like, how, if the blanket was put in the garbage, how did it get out of the garbage and half of it get into a tree, right?
And I mean, quite a ways down the road, like down the paved road from where they lived, up a dirt road, a good at least a mile or two. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a head scratcher for anybody, right? Kat is asking, how are you and how is Malaya doing?
Things are, well, you know, everything's touch and go. The subject is very touchy for family. Malaya's trying to live somewhat of a normal life. She shouldn't be expected to sit in the house and be miserable. She can have a life too, right? She just, we don't know what happened. I only know from what I was told. I obviously wasn't there when the kids went missing, but she deserves to not be ridiculed as well, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'm not sticking up for anybody in this situation. I know as much as everybody else about what had happened with the children, right? So
yeah. I mean, it's a tragedy. And I think that what adds to it is the time that has gone on, right? That just simply adds to the stress. I mean, if the police would figure out or could figure out what happened, and you know, Lily and Jack could be found, it would give people a sense of at least everybody would know what happened, right?
well, yeah, it's to the point where it's 2 months too long as family. Like we're hurting over this. Like it's a lot. And I mean, there's been a lot of things going around that's very much misinformation. Like people are just wild in the Facebook groups. I've stayed quiet.
Thank you, Haley. Thank you.
Like I'm in them, but I stay quiet because I have a son at home that I still need to keep life normal for him, right? But people are starting to figure out who I am, how I'm connected. So I figured, you know, I would give my peace of mind and what I know because people are starting to message and ask. But, you know, I do just want to touch on a subject, though.
Absolutely.
The family altercation that happened in the driveway. I was there for that. So there's a big piece that Logan has left out, and I'm ready to share that because we all know and have not said anything. But it's a very crucial point that they seem to be skipping over. So this was just before the briefing, if I can remember quite right here. We were all in the house and Dan was in the bathroom. And when I say we, I'm talking about my sister-in-law, her sister, Leia's mother, my partner. And we were all in the kitchen and we heard like things rustling around in the bathroom. We're like, what the hell? So my stepmom went and knocked on the door and was like, damn, what's going on? Are you all right? Anyway, my sister-in-law went in and said she needs to use the bathroom. So he came out and he's kind of like hovering.
Haley,
and,
sorry, Haley. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but just because my mind's sort of going crazy with trying to figure out and keep people straight. Who is your sister-in-law?
So Shelby, Cheryl said I was her sister-in-law. It's like confusing, but Shelby's with my brother. She's my sister-in-law, and Cheryl is Shelby's sister. So
okay,
yeah.
All right, okay. Just to get it straight as to who we're talking about, so that people in chat sort of know. Anyway, go ahead.
So like he was wrestling some things around in the bathroom. And we went in to kind of investigate after him. And there was drugs. Drugs was involved, and that's what fueled the family altercation in the driveway. And I'll be the one to say that because I got so freaking mad after this was found out, because then I said to him, I said, that's exactly why you're acting the way you are, running around like a madman, acting like you're doing everything and everybody's just sitting back, like relaxing. Like nobody was, but nobody was running around like a chicken with their head cut off because we weren't on drugs. Do you know what I mean? But that's what the altercation was, because I was like, I confronted his family. It was actually me. And I said, what the hell, guys? Like, what's going on here? Like, why is that involved? My sister broke down and she admitted that he's been on it for 2 years or so. And yeah, so they all got very, very mad when that came about. And they all kind of said, you know what? We already knew that. Well, if you knew that, why the hell is there children in a home with somebody like that? Like, why aren't you protecting the kids that way? Like, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the big piece that Logan and whoever else, this Darren guy that is related to Malaya's side, I mean, he's just spewing a bunch of stuff that's not 100%.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah.
none of his stuff can be verified. So just remind me, when did this altercation break out? That was on the Saturday, right?
Yeah, that was just as Malaya was going down to the press conference. Yeah. So Malaya broke at the end of the driveway. She was crying and I was like, like, what's going on? And she wouldn't talk. And I looked at her and I said, now's the time to talk. Like, get fucking talking. Like, what's going on? And she broke down and that's what it came about, that he was doing that. So
okay.
That fueled the family fight that there was. And I mean, yes, Janie or whatever her name was did go at Cheryl. Logan was trying to fight everybody in the driveway. They kicked us off the property because we found out something that nobody was supposed to find out, right?
Okay. So this was on the Saturday evening.
Yeah, just before Malaya had left. Malaya planned to, the baby was going to go with Logan. There was a lot of kind of give me the baby, I'm taking the baby. And then, oh, you can come too. And it was kind of Malaya, I spoke to her and I was like, why don't you go with your mom? She wasn't made to go with her mom. As her sister, I could see what was right and what was wrong in that moment. And they were trying to persuade her to stay with the baby. And I told her that she really needs to sit and think what's best for her and the baby at this time. And she ended up going with her mom. And that was willingly. It was nobody talking her in to go. I'm just like, you have a home, you'll be treated right. There'll be food, there'll be love. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I
do gotta jump off. I have some things to do, but I'll catch you later if that's okay.
Okay. So, you guys could obviously hear towards the end a bunch of dinging going on. Probably someone telling her to probably not talk so much. Probably had to go real quick there. I thank everyone for giving all family members, regardless how I feel about the case. It's about Jack and Lily, regardless. These two beautiful children right here. So obviously, Charmaine, we can see that Daniel Martell's in the house. So Daniel Martell, you are going to give a nice invite yet again. Did you want to come sit up here with me and Charmaine and fix some of the truth out there? What do you think, Charmaine? You think he's going to do it?
No.
I don't think. That's a hard one. I don't think so. But Daniel, you can have a platform. I'm not going to sit here and attack you. You can have a platform to say your piece if you want. Clear up some of the lies. Thank you guys for being here. Sorry?
Are we going to wait for that or?
No, not really, because we all know that it's not going to happen. I've asked him multiple times. Him and his mother ignore me in Messenger anyway.
But Daniel, you're engaging right now. You are engaging right now. You could sit and watch all of these live streams and not chime up in chat, but you do. So you want to be heard. So them telling you not to engage, that's fine. But by letting us know that you're here, you are engaging.
Well, that's bull. Come on now. Come on, Daniel. Major crime urges you not to engage, but you'll do interviews.
That could be true, Sonny. Absolutely, that could be true. They don't want certain information out there. And I understand that. But by saying anything in chat and letting any channel know that you're in their chat, you are engaging. People want to hear from you. So now you've got all of the attention, and no matter what order you type your comments in, it's going to be screenshotted and it's going to be twisted and taken out of context. The only way to get your story out, the way you want it out, is to speak with your voice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't play these games. And Charmaine, let's get real about this. He's been engaging. He's been talking, saying that he's saying too much, almost all the time, saying too much, right? So trust me, there's no that major crime units. Well, no, major crime unit would have said that what they said was, please be careful with the information you put out. We're not asking you to give out new information. We're just asking you to put out the information, talk about the information that you've put out there already. That's your own words. That's the information I'm talking about, right? I mean, Daniel, let's just get real here, okay? Darren already said you said that you lied. But the thing is that the receipts are in your interviews. And again, we can talk about coming out of the wood and then saying Malaya was on the phone. Or we can talk about the message you sent to Charmaine, where you said that your mom came out of there and Malaya asked you if she should call 911. And then you were basically like, F yeah, like if you're, right? So you got some little whoppers out there going on for sure. So that's what we're saying. If you want to clear up some of that, the stuff that you've already been speaking about, we're not asking you for any deeper information than that, besides just to clear up. So again, I'm not going to hold my breath here. The platform will give you a voice if you want one, but I know you're not going to take it. Just like you could have taken it on Hidden in the Fogs thing as well, where your cousin Logan had no problem going on for you. And so anyways, we're going to leave that at that. Let's make this about Jack and Lily. Again, Daniel, Malaya, and everybody else, you guys are just noise. At the end of the day, the RCMP will, of course, be the ones to arrest anyone if there's any involvement at this time in the future. At this time, nobody, of course, has been charged for the Jack and Lily's disappearance. So again, everything is speculation. So if you are going to say something, you never accuse someone outright that they had something to do with the crime. It's all in speculation. Okay, or theories or hypothesis, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so anyways, okay, so Charmaine, I played that one.
Just a couple of things. Vanessa, Jesus, he's probably left now, and it's not my channel, and I get a little bit worked up when stuff like this happens, only because he's trying to put out his truth, but all he does is chat, and then other channels and other people take screenshots and they can twist it however they want. So to me, and it's not my channel, this is not a thing. And if it's because I will leave and he can get up here, I don't care. But I don't want to promote or encourage this kind of drama and attention on falsehoods and miscommunication that happens no matter if you're texting or the telephone game, like, you know what I mean, and in elementary school. I don't want to be a part of that. So if he doesn't want to clarify his stories that are different, and I don't care what you say, Vanessa, they have changed, he's more than welcome to come up and clarify. I don't want to be a part of this whole, oh my God, Daniel's in chat. Oh my God, Daniel's in chat. Because that's where he's going to stay. He's not going to voice his opinion. He's not going to get up here and clear all this up. And it would take him 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Or why is he not doing it? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Because that's a bullshit answer that he gave. It's a bullshit answer. But you know what? To be honest with you, I'm sick of the lies. Sick of the lies.
And
sick of the bullshit.
Really quickly, can we just answer Travis, because he hasn't been. Charmaine, how is the Indigenous tribe involved? In my opinion, they're not. Their land in proximity to the home. I mean, which land? The reserves are scattered all over the place. They're everywhere. Who can search a reservation? The RCMP have jurisdiction from coast to coast to coast to coast. They just do. And not just that, if the RCMP believed that children were being hidden on a reserve, RCMP approached that reservation or First Nations land, however you want me to put it, the chief is not going to say, you can't come and investigate that on my land. They're not going to do that. They're just not going to do that for two missing kids. When if they're alive and well and safe, they're going to tell the authorities that, so that all of this isn't happening anymore. And if you think that that's what's going on, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't.
No.
Nobody is hiding these kids with official people, a lawyer, anybody like that knowing. And I have a really hard time believing that Malaya's entire family, not one single person knows that these kids are alive and well, and they haven't spoke up yet. Because at the beginning, it was a domestic issue at best. It would have been family court at best. But Daniel is a stepdad. Come on.
I love it when you get feisty. So,
I mean, and I've been away for so I'm surprised. I got some work done so quick. Wow.
You know what? At the end of the day, you guys, again, this channel's not here to try to bullshit you. Or if you guys have your own brains and own thoughts, regardless, right? Just like we do. We know that anything we're talking about is speculation. But the one thing that we'll never forget is we are Jack and Lily's army. We're saying that to Malaya. We're saying that to Daniel. We're saying that to Belinda. We're saying that to everyone. That we are Jack and Lily's army, you guys. And we're going to sit there and we're going to push and push and push until the truth comes out. And so again, if Daniel, if he wants to sit there and chat and that's all, and he doesn't want to come up and man up, that's up to him. Again, you can have a platform with us if you want, or use your own channel, Daniel, and speak your truth, but you're not. And there's a reason that you and your mother keep hiding behind messages. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But I'm not playing your game. If you guys want to ask Daniel questions in chat and he wants to sit there and preach about the untruth of Haley and all that stuff, well, again, he can come up here. He can clear stuff up if he wanted to, but he's not. But don't give me that major crime unit bullshit, okay? I see through you, okay? I see through you. Freaking right through those eyes of yours, okay? Simple as that. But anyways, you guys, what I'm gonna do now is this. I'm gonna play the part where Darren's speaking about what Daniel has said to him. And we know that again, it's third-hand information because Daniel could come say it himself if he wanted to. But ask yourself this. Honestly, he won't come on this channel, he won't go on any channel, he won't go on Hidden in the Fog's channel. Why is that? Ask yourself why that is. Now, for all you people out there, again, that have your own theories, again, this is my platform here. So obviously you're going to hear us talk about our theories and you guys can put your own thoughts into the chat. And again, you're entitled to your own opinions. Just be respectful, okay? And I mean everyone, just be respectful to each other, including Daniel, okay? You can ask him a question, but do not be rude, okay? Nobody has been charged in this case, guys. Okay, so now, Sunny, did you check? Well, it's not. It's the real Daniel. I'll go check for you guys if you really want me to. It is Daniel. But here, let me just go confirm that. If it takes me to Pokemon, that's all you need to know. Okay, let me just find her. Geez, I have to probably scroll back up a lot, you guys. I'm going to have to set this whole chat thing to a little bit longer, I think. Because you guys, there's many people that's in chat talking. Let's see here. Just going to go. You guys are talking up a storm in the chat. And that's good. That's good. You know, put out your thoughts. Thank you again, Anon, for the $10 super chat that I just came. Oh, there's Daniel right there. Okay. So let's just go take a boot, go to channel. Again, bet you any money it takes me to Pokemon. Yes, it did. Took me right to Daniel's channel, guys. Okay.
You guys, mods, I'm going to remind you that if anybody's being insulting or anything, you can time them out or whatever, but it has to be a mod, you guys. If you're a channel member or a subscriber, you can click and block that person from your own view, but it's got nothing to do with the chat. So it has to be a mod. if somebody is being rude or whatever, I don't think you should boot people, but time them out and put in chat that something happened so Sunny can check.
We can have a warning unless they're absolutely ignorant.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Let Sunny know that that's happened so she can double check and boot them herself.
We're here for Jack and Lily first and foremost. Okay, that's what it's about. Daniel and anyone else behind that, including Belinda, knows that this is about Jack and Lily first. Okay, and the appreciation, of course, from Belinda, who has been a warrior, the only true warrior that has no stake in the game, that just wants answers for what happened to Jack and Lily. Okay, obviously we know that Daniel Martell and Malaya Brooks Murray were in charge of the children that morning. So we do know that, and obviously that's the last time the children have been seen. That is fact. Okay, so anyways, like I said, if Daniel wants to pipe up and chat, he ain't coming up here, you guys. Again, it's a game. He's playing a game, and I'm not playing that game. If he wants to come up here, he knows he can. He knows he can say his piece. He knows that. He's known that for weeks now. So I ain't playing that game anymore. Okay? All right. Do I make myself crystal clear? Daniel? All right. Not playing your game. Okay. So now I'm going to play, like I said, the video of Darren. So we heard what Haley had to say, right? Remember, you guys? Haley is the half-sister of Malaya. And again, we can't literally confirm that it's her voice beyond there, but it's kind of one of those 2 + 2 things. So take it with a grain of salt with everything else. If we don't have actual physical receipts to say it, right? Obviously, you know, hidden in the fog, I'm sure got her receipts when she interviewed Haley there, but we have not. Guess I could ask her. But anyways, okay. Thank you guys all for being here today. Again, it's about Jack and Lily and finding the truth for Jack and Lily. That's it. Victims and the murdered will always be the most important things on this channel. Okay, so Charmaine, I'm going to play that part now for you. So let me just bring that up. Don't forget, you guys, if you guys haven't hit that like and the share button, please do it for Jack and Lily. Please bring awareness to the case. Keep pushing it out there. You guys are the army. Thank you so much. Okay, so right here, Charmaine, I'm going to play from this point on. Okay, Charmaine?
I think I probably said enough on that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's somebody else might want to talk to you, so you can kick me off anytime you want. Yeah, but I don't know if there's any other questions I can answer for you or not. There's another little tidbit I can tell you.
What?
Man, you should listen to what Daniel says about the blanket thing that got turned up on the side of the road.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that, please. Because yeah,
that blanket out there, they only get garbage. They only get garbage removal like something about once a week, and sometimes not for 2 weeks. So the story is unconfirmed by me, but told to me by somebody who's been telling me the truth over and over and over. So the blanket thing was one of the kids' blankets, but it was pretty bad shape, so they decided to throw it in the garbage. So they got a garbage bin inside the house there, so there was some stuff in the garbage bag, and that blanket was one of the things that was stuffed in the garbage bag. So anyway, Daniel noticed after the kids were gone missing that somebody had gotten into the garbage bag and ripped the garbage bag and went to pull that blanket out of it, but the blanket was rotten, and that's why there's only a piece of blanket. That blanket ended up the road hanging from a tree, and it wasn't there for the first day. Actually, it wasn't there for the first day. It never showed up, I don't believe, until the second day on the side of the road, because don't forget, Daniel's got family that lives up the dirt road, and they travel back and forth, and they said they never saw that. They would have seen the blanket, part of the blanket sticking in the tree. It's like a sore thumb out there.
right.
And then the blueprint. I want to say this. Do you know who found the blanket? The blanket piece in the tree?
We just heard that it was family that took them there. That's
right. Malaya's friends and family.
Malaya's.
Do you know who found the blueprint up on the pipeline?
Malaya's friends and family?
Malaya's friends and family. They all the evidence except for one little thing. That the only thing the searchers found, and I'm pretty sure now some searcher might come on here and say, "No, I'm full of shit," that they did find something else, but I don't think so. And there was some stuff went missing out of the trailer Daniel checked on too, and he reported this to the Mounties because what he was scared of, that somebody took this stuff, because he was sure somebody planted this evidence.
Right.
And there was some other stuff missing of his, and he was sure that he was going to that somebody was going to try to blame him to make it look like an abduction, and that he did it down the line. So he reported this to the Mounties right off the start to protect. And it was a smart move on his behalf.
Yeah.
He had 2 sweaters, a water bottle, and something else were taken out of his.
What was it about those sweaters? Because you know, obviously when people listen to it, that it was something like, well, if there's 2 sweat like that. I mean, obviously he was typing in Dolly yesterday and stuff like that, but he's mentioned something about these 2 sweaters, and it's like, well, if they're found with the kids, you know, it almost came across like I didn't have anything to do with it. She took them with her. So what is it about those 2 sweaters?
Well, that's what he was worried about. That these people, like, they took the blanket, they took the part of the blanket out, set that up to make it look like an abduction down the road. They took the boot print, they set the boot print up on the pipeline to make it look like the kids were in the woods. So they were sort of splitting things up. And there was another couple little things that they found. Now the searchers were all through there, and they never found this stuff. But all of a sudden, Malaya's half sister found most of it. Matter of fact, I believe it was Malaya's sister found everything. I think she found the half sister. I think she found the blanket hanging in the tree. She found the boot print up on the pipeline, and I mean, one boot print up by itself up on a pipeline, and I don't even think it was the right size for the kids, from what Daniel tells me. So. And initially, Daniel denied that was the blanket because he was panicking too. He thought, "Holy jeez, that makes it look like I abducted the kids." So I'm going to say that it wasn't the blanket. But now, see, he's
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And now he's worried about. He was worried about when he found the 2 sweaters and a water bottle, and I believe there was something else, 1 or 2 things. It was 3 or 4 items missing out of his house, right at that time, and he was sure the same people that were sort of planting this evidence were going to set that stuff up for later on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right.
And then he reported that the first day.
Okay.
So the Mounties had a record of that, and what he was hoping too, and I'm sure the Mounties were hoping, was that when this stuff turned up, they already knew that it was missing, so that would have probably given them a lead on who put it there. So it was a smart move on Daniel's behalf, and it made him look guilty. It made him look stupid, like you just said. A lot of people didn't understand. He wasn't explaining it very clearly as to why what he was talking about in the 2 sweaters a few times in the water bottle.
Right.
But once you talk to him and you get it, you know, you listen to him, and once Daniel relaxes with you, the more you're with him.
Emoji, balance scale emoji, for Lily, white heart emoji, and Jack, white heart emoji.
Oops. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Ether, for the support for Jack and Lily in the super chat there. And then Law's family put up, did you make a video, Daniel, with Justin on there and on? Thank you so much for that. And of course, Taylor super chat and Mema Angie, thank you so much for that. Okay, Charmaine, that was a lot to unpack, was it not? Now, I do want to say something, Charmaine, before we get into you right now in a second. I don't care who's speaking. I love any family member speaking, including Darren. To be honest with you guys, you should be thanking Darren, to be honest with you. Why? Because he's been stirring the pot and he's been causing other people to come out. And I'm loving every ounce of it. Why? Because it's leading to the answers little by little, you know, lie by lie of what happened to Lily and Jack. Now, I know that Darren, you know, says that he's looked at things and that he's believing in Janie and Daniel and that whole storyline, okay? But I'm going to give credit where credit's due. When family members are speaking out, listen, because it doesn't matter if it's true or not. They're speaking out, and that's when you really want to listen. Again, you would have zero zilch if these family members weren't speaking out. Now, Belinda, she's been doing it from the start. These are her grandbabies, Jack and Lily, right? She wants answers. What happened to my grandbabies? The rest of it, Daniel, he's still a suspect. He might think he's not a suspect, but he's still a suspect. So is Malaya to the world, you know, everyone else. Nobody has been charged, but they're the ones that were in charge of Jack and Lily, and no different Then the Sebastian Rogers case, right? Katie Proudfoot was the last one to be with her son. But anyways, so no matter how Darren feels about what I'm going to say in just a little bit here, right? I'd still thank him because he's the one that's been stirring the pot, and it makes people come out of the woodwork. Take the information as whatever you want, but you know what? I'm listening to all of it. I'm inhaling every ounce of it because I know the truth is in there between all of this. Charmaine, what do you want to say about the, that Daniel lied about, of course, the blanket, about the water bottles, about the sweatshirts in case. What do you say about all that?
Well, I mean, I think I've been pretty obvious over the last 6 weeks or so. And you said there's a lot to unpack. To me, crap. It's not even going to go anywhere because I'm sorry. I believe that Darren believes this. I truly do. And I thank him for coming forward. I really, really do. But it doesn't make sense. It is borderline ludicrous. The entire narrative is ridiculous.
I agree.
Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it was far-fetched out there in the first place. But I wanted to look always at all angles of this case, right? Because to me, it's not about Malaya or Daniel per se. It's about finding the truth. And so as because Daniel, and I just want to say this if you're listening, is that most channels like myself have been in true crime for like 5 years, right? Other channels 10 years, 16 years, etc., etc., etc. Whether you watch true crime or not, when you're on the true crime space in the true crime community, you're not going to pull stuff over on us like you're going to pull the news, okay? You can use the news and they will put out certain content. But if you think that we fell off a turnip truck and that you're very smart and that you're playing your games with us, because that's what you're playing. You're playing a game with us, okay? Now, I'm not here to sit there and be your judge and jury, but I'm definitely here to have my own thoughts like anybody else, knowing full well that Daniel has not been charged. Malaya has not been charged. Nobody has been charged. And at this point, we don't know truly what happened to Jack and Lily. Will the hammer come down? Absolutely. The hammer's going to come down. And when it comes down, I'll be there for that, whichever way this turns out. But as for Karen, meaning, am I pro Daniel? Am I pro Malaya? Absolutely not. What I am is pro Jack and Lily and pro Belinda. That's who I'm pro for. And I appreciate the fact that the secondary person to all of this has been Darren. And if it wasn't Darren stirring the pot, even if he believes in Daniel and Janie, right? Again, he has his right to have his own thoughts. But I'm thanking Darren for stirring the pot that's creating these people to come out and want to speak out because Logan's talking, right? And we haven't heard too much from Malaya's side this whole time. Even Janie, right? Or Justin for that matter. I don't really see anyone coming out until recently. And this is over 2 months into this case. Come on. Why is it that Belinda has been the voice for Jack and Lily from the get-go? Okay, Daniel, I can't sit there and give you these kudos like you want to get for Jack and Lily because you're a suspect. Okay, you are one of the prime suspects and you know it. I know it. Everyone else knows these. No matter what, you're still one of the prime suspects, just like Malaya, right? Possibly. But anyways, we don't have those answers, but we certainly do have our thoughts. And I got a lot of thoughts that I want to get out today.
I'd just like to say really quickly to Kenton, I know what you're doing. You're yelling at a mother who's not doing anything to help find her kids. But I feel like it's possible, and I'm not excusing it, but if you look at it from the lens that maybe she believes that her kids are no longer with us, and perhaps she's been spending the last 2 months grieving them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just it. Is that from the beginning of this case, right? Okay. Malaya's interview was odd. Daniel seemed to be portraying this person that was, looking for these stepchildren. But by the same token, as time has trickled on, he's clearly been lying. Darren's justifying Daniel's lies for Malaya and in love. Daniel's been using the internet to say, stop bashing Malaya. He told Charmaine a bunch of stuff. Then he gets upset at us, won't speak to her again after that. But then he's still talking to a bunch of people because we have those screenshots too. So again, you're playing a game and you're playing with fire when you think you're going to fool the internet, or at least the majority of us, by doing stuff like this, okay? You know the truth of regardless, meaning at the end of the day, Daniel or Malaya, who's ever listening to this, or the family members, at the end of the day, the people that have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily know the truth from your lips to God's ears, right? Now, again, I'm not here to be your judge and jury. Anyone that has any information and knowledge about Jack and Lily and hasn't come forward with it, again, you know what? Let karma come and boomerang you in the butt. But hopefully someone watches the tribute video, watches a live on someone's channel and says, you know what? I feel bad that I actually know some information, okay? Because there is information. There is truth out there. And Daniel, you're not telling the truth by far. We can't really talk about Malaya too much because Malaya really hasn't, she's just basically shut up. She's gone radio silent since that interview, and she's spoken a couple times to Belinda. Same with Daniel. And there's a few lies that we're going to go through, to be honest with you, on this one. All right. Now, just quickly, though. So, I mean, pretty much everything that Darren did say in that part of the clip that I just showed you from a live is how Daniel's made an excuse, some story, we'll call it, for every lie, in a sense, that he's told, or some reasoning about the blanket, the sweaters, the bottle. Everything is what it is. It's just a bunch. You know what? I want to say this. If anyone knows the Suzanne Morphew case, okay? So let me show you something here quickly, if you don't mind. I'm going to share screen with you for a minute. Okay. I'll tell you this, why this reminds me somewhat of the Barry Morphew case. And this is just, remember this is my theory, my speculation. Okay? That's all it is. It's just me taking information that I've come across myself and sitting there trying to make about the reasoning behind all of it, right? So that I can go from A to B to C to D to E to F and realize that I feel like we're absolutely being lied to. Got your number, Daniel. Got your number. So anyways, I'm putting up this map on the screen here. Let me just take off the banner here. Okay. Okay. So obviously Jack here, maybe we can zoom this in a little bit. No, you guys are good. Okay. So Jack and Lily, of course, is 1407 on Gairloch Road. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that Daniel and Malaya lived at this trailer, that Janie also lived on the property, which is Daniel Martell's mother. So, and this was by Hidden in the Fog as well. So just down here is the child's boot prints near the pipeline. And then there's this pink blanket, right, that Daniel said, nope, it's nothing to do with Malaya or the kids, Lily. It's not Lily's blanket, right? We just heard Darren say, well, you know what? Daniel lied about that type of thing because he didn't want it to look like, because, people are planting things against him and whatever that was. Anyways, so just off screen here, you guys, just off screen here is another Martell property, okay? And that's where Poppy lives, okay? The father of Daniel, okay? Because we all knew that from the news that Justin, and so Justin, obviously, if you guys heard Logan, Justin Martell is going through a rocky relationship. And, well, probably more than that, but we'll call it just a rocky relationship that's probably not going to end too well. And Logan talks about that. So the news crew told Belinda that Justin just lived up the road, down the road, type of thing. So I'm pretty sure I wouldn't doubt, and this is just hypothesis, just making a wild guess here, but it wouldn't have shocked me if Justin was actually staying with his father on this property here, maybe while his relationship was going south. Again, just my own speculation. But the reason why this reminds me of the Barry Morphew case is once I personally now have listened to everything, and then now to me all the puzzle pieces are starting to fit together. So what happened in the Barry Morphew case? Barry Morphew again has been charged for his wife Suzanne Morphew's murder. Now, Barry Morphew was charged the first time, but then they had to pull back so that they could retry him for another day. Now, the whole gist of what Barry Morphew tried to portray, that Suzanne, Barry Morphew, by the way, watched True Crime, okay? But he didn't realize Suzanne had a spy pen. Okay. And yeah, I'm not into his games anymore. He can talk all he wants in chat. I won't, he can do that there. But as for me, it's not important to me. It's about Jack and Lily and fight for justice. So in the Barry Morphew case, Suzanne Morphew case, I should say, is that Barry Morphew, basically they lived in a place similar like this, but we're talking mansion homes, right? But very in Boulder, not Boulder, in Colorado. Why can't I think of the freaking place all of a sudden? Anyways, in Colorado. And so they lived in this big house. And guess what? Mother's Day of 2020, Suzanne Morphew just up and disappears. Now, all of a sudden, they find Suzanne Morphew's bike, right? Not too far away from the house. Not too far away. And then guess what, guys? In the opposite direction of where Suzanne's remains were found, they find Suzanne's bicycle helmet. Now, Barry portrays like he's this, oh, Suzanne, we want you home so bad. I'm doing everything, man. Shut up, Barry. Okay? That's what this case kind of reminds me of. Like, let's go put some evidence here, claim that perhaps, hypothetically, remember, this is just my theory, claim that all of a sudden that it was planted evidence. So now I got to sit there and say that this was planted, the blanket was planted, and I don't want the police, of course, to think that I planted it. So I'm got a video going here, and I don't want them to think that I planted those two shirts or sweaters or t-shirts with a water bottle. So I don't want them to think that at all either. So I'm going to misdirect this way when really we should be looking the other way, right? That's why this reminds me a lot of the Suzanne Morphew case, especially after listening to when Darren, it wasn't out of Daniel's mouth. Remember this, okay, guys? Okay, this is out of Darren's mouth, what he's saying that Daniel told him. So remember, take it with the grain of salt, all right, that it is. Now, Charmaine, did you want to say something there? No? So let me roll back to the beginning here. So the morning of, we've always been confused. At first, there was this drug party going on, okay? Or that we heard. Somebody made a post. A person that literally lives right beside the Martells, right? And so this person makes a post saying that on Wednesday or Thursday that there was basically this house is a crack house, and that there was a vehicle out on the road. It was like they were having a party. And I believe he said it was like about 2 p.m. that there was some party going on. Anyways, so out of all of this, amongst the lies, okay? And again, if you don't want to listen to it, please, you know how to remove yourself if you guys don't want to listen to it. And you guys, like I said, this is my theory myself on there. So I'm going to play something, share screen. I'm going to show you the inconsistencies is what I'm going to do. Okay, 1 second. Oh yeah, this one. Okay. Come back here. Stepfather. Okay. This is, of course, Daniel Martell's interview about the polygraph test. All right. So remember how this all kind of started was because of that poster about the drug party, but nobody knew at this point in time, of course, until the RCMP, came out and said the last time that Daniel, Malaya, Lily, and Jack on video were seen and is in New Glasgow, and Daniel said it himself. Okay, now he also made this comment, and people have been asking if it was Darren's son, but Darren had said no. He also made a mention of about a co-worker that they talked to as well. So basically, I guess somebody to say that there was like an alibi on top of the video, something like that. Anyways, so going back to this drug party thing, this is Daniel's answer to this, okay? So I'm going to play that.
Told him I, do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. I know the person that said there's rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Was there any kind of party?
No.
Was there any kind of gathering that someone might have thought was a party?
No.
There were no people at the house?
No. Not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned.
Yeah, no, not night before. Okay, Charmaine, tell me why in the world, when that post came out, and Darren said the same thing for Daniel, but Daniel said this himself. He said, we know who that is, and he's trying to take the heat off of himself. What in the world would that have to do with the price of tea in China? What possibly could that have meant? That the neighbor is trying to take the heat off himself. So by making that post that Daniel's place is a crack house, and that there was like a party going on Wednesday or Thursday. Oh yeah, I know the neighbor. He's trying to take the heat off himself.
Just more collateral yet irrelevant information shared. To me, because I also heard rumors that said neighbor is also what are we saying, rug dealer, whatever. They sell meth there, whatever the YouTube thing is. But taking the heat off of themselves for rugs, is that what we're calling them here? Math rugs, and selling them. So like I said, just throwing that out there is maybe trying to dispel the internet mistruths and misinformation. We were all talking about the possible party because clearly we know, we can see how Daniel likes to clarify these rumors when he jumps into chat rooms. So he had the platform on the news there, so it's quite possible that he was hoping to dispel that rumor about the drug party that night. But as for the price of tea in China, like I said, collateral yet irrelevant information to me, in my opinion.
Take care, Carla. And yes, I know who Dolly Vision is, Carla. You take care on that. I want to do a live with Dolly Vision. I think that we'd have a great live. But anyway, okay. So in saying that, now let's talk about that. We found out that the children on May 1st were last seen at some point in the afternoon. And of course, RCMP, they put out that information. So that took away from the speculation of, the Wednesday, it would be from after school Tuesday to the Wednesday PD day. Children were called in, according to Daniel, at 6:17 on Thursday and 6:18 on the Friday. Now, he claims apparently that he didn't know that the children were going to come in. But so beyond that, so we really don't know what happened between that time. Now, allegedly.
What? And I'm reading chat. I'm obviously out of the loop. I know I've heard, and you can tell me if this is speculation or not, but there were allegedly rugs found in Janie's cupboard or something, and then they were also found in the bathroom of the trailer. But chat brought up a really good question, and had I known the timeline, I would have brought it up as well. That the RCMP searched the trailer, the inside of the trailer. I think twice. And they wanted to search the inside of the the fifth wheel or whatever the RV was.
Mm-hmm.
They would have found that. And then if they would have found that, they probably would have done drug testing. So, I mean, and like I said, I don't know if it's all just rumors or if somebody that knows would have said something or.
So we're going to get there. We're going to get there. That's in order of it. Okay. So I'll get there. Okay. So, but we're going to talk about the 8 o'clock time, first of all, that we all know has been put out on the scanner about that the children are last seen at 8 o'clock. Now, Malaya sends a text at 1:46 or 9 to Belinda when Belinda, realizes that she gets this, clip, whatever, sent to her there about this, 2 children missing. They're her grandbabies. And, she puts a message out to Malaya in the afternoon about, like I said, it's either 1:46 or 1:49. And so Malaya tells Belinda at 8:40, no, sorry, my bad, that between 8 o'clock and 8:30 was the last time that they heard the children, something like that. Now, amongst all these lies is about the call came in around 10 o'clock. You remember that Daniel said to you, about 10 o'clock that Malaya lied. Let's just leave it at that, he says, right? So now Malaya says to Belinda at 9:40 that's when basically the kids went missing. Daniel claims that it was only 20 minutes, that Lily was in and out of that room a few times that morning, right? She was wearing a pink top. Malaya, of course, is out of it, but Daniel, he claims that he was barely even sleeping. And so that, he was pretty much awake because he was, he said that right on this interview, like that he wasn't really in sleep town there. And he claims that, of course, it was only about 20 minutes, okay? It was only about 20 minutes. And then, of course, the police were called. Now, of course, 8 o'clock to 8:30, and then we get to 10 o'clock, but it was about 9:48 that the call went in to the police. So Malaya was pretty close, right, with her time there. But anyways, so I'm not really sure how 8 o'clock on the scanner, which would have been told by the family, but even let's just give it a little bit. How is it possible then that Daniel could have, who was really not in a big sleep, and then 20 minutes he feels like, but then at what point is Lily coming in and out of the room? The last time that you seen them was when again? Well, again, you're trying to make answers out of lies is what's happening here. So then in your messages to you, right, Daniel claims that I should pull up the messages. My mom was napping, right? And the only reason that his mom came out of the trailer, he says, is because he was yelling the kid's name. And Malaya, the person that he adores and loves and cares about, the one that he belittles at every chance that he gets, that person. In every single message, he's basically, again, making himself out to be this hero. And Malaya is a big zero, that he does everything and she sits on her phone and does nothing. But Malaya, don't forget, this is the old Daniel.
No, she takes care of Meadow. She's all about Meadow.
Well, you're right. Meadow. Okay, all about Meadow. You're right about that. Okay, so, Daniel has said, Malaya, and talking to Belinda and stuff like that, that she has worse than postpartum depression going on, that he does everything for Lily and Jack. And this, I'm not saying that it couldn't be true. Obviously, I understand depression and how it makes you feel, but, but in conjunction with the tax, he's making it seem like Malaya was lazy. Malaya, I'm just here to tell the truth, he says. I'm here to tell the truth. How many times did he say he's here to tell the truth? So I hope you're listening, Daniel, because I'm just calling you out on your bullshit is what I'm doing. And again, you have every right to come up here and fix that, but you don't. And I know the reason for it. And I know the reason why your mom and Janie ignore my messages as well. Because again, I didn't fall off no turnip truck. And if you're going to play with fire and true crime, then and put yourself out there, then expect to get this, okay? Because you're hiding your butt behind posting stuff and trying to get the people to rally behind you. And yet you won't come up to this channel or another channel or Hidden in the Fog's channel to clarify. And there's only one reason for that. It's because you're lying and you can't come at it face on with somebody. But behind typing, you can lie all you want. Anyways, that's my theory or alleging, and I'm sticking to that. But anyways, okay. So bottom line is that again, Daniel has this story about that his mom actually came out of the trailer. Now, keep in mind this, you guys, as I'm saying this, okay? Daniel has already told Belinda that the dog didn't bark and his mom didn't wake up already, right? And Belinda, correct me if I'm wrong, right? So he's already told her this. So Belinda, she's a smart cookie and she has a good memory. So again, it's not like these things are hard for the police to get hold of, or the information and download any deleted things, because it's what you call Cellbrite, right? Where they can, anything you try to delete, they'll just pull it back up because they're smarter than you, right? They're smarter than anyone that thinks that they're not that way. But anyways, so according to Belinda, Daniel tells her that no, the dog didn't bark, mom didn't wake up. So when I said that to Belinda about that, when he was yelling, she's like, but Daniel told me this though. And I remember that, because Belinda was there on the 3rd, on the 5th, and on the 18th, I believe it was. But anyways, so that story went from him yelling for the kids. Malaya's on her phone playing and just standing there like, I guess, a deer caught in headlights. And then Mama Janie comes out of the trailer, right? Whoa, plot twist turn. Because then, as Daniel says, that according to him, that Malaya had asked him if she should call 911. And he says, well, basically, what the F do you think? The kids are missing, right? Wait, but let's add more to the story now that time has gone by, and let's make it so that now Janie wakes up, sees Malaya near the road, and then miraculously looks like a deer in headlights. So where's Daniel then? Because remember, Mama's the only one that saw all of a sudden Malaya on the road. Daniel,
at what point did he run out really quickly for like 30 seconds to check the cabin in the woods and then come back to Malaya already being on the phone with the RCMP? When did that happen?
Right.
Like when did that go down?
And he told that on 2 interviews. Meaning, so that's what you call receipts. When he literally is saying it, right? So besides backing up the messages to you and the other ones he has out there, right, Daniel, is that, again, this is why people are saying, if you want to come clear this up and you want to come clear up your lies, but you're not taking the opportunity, are you? Instead, you're trying to manipulate inside the chat and the rooms and put out stupid stuff like about the 2 sweaters. And if you find them, they were planted. So imagine this, guys. Imagine that the blanket somehow, I don't know, I'm going to lie and say that it's not Lily's blanket, but I just lied because I didn't want the, whatever RCMP to become suspicious. And I'm going to lie, about the phone, and I'm going to lie about the sweaters and say that they're missing because they're going to get used to be planted against me in case they ever find Jack and Lily. So imagine that. You and Malaya contrived, hypothetically, remember, this is my rendition when I'm looking at everything that's out there now. So imagine the fact that you and Malaya, right, concocted a story together about the timeline, but you guys really couldn't keep it together. Just imagine. And that you both mentioned the sliding silent door and the thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I know Belinda says that Malaya showed her and it's not as loud as what it might seem, but we're talking about Malaya's interview and scripted. Now, what could have possibly, hypothetically, allegedly happened to Lily and Jack? Well, this is my theory, is that I believe that Lily, Jack, both of them, that they got into these drugs that were on the premises, and that basically the kids' demise was on the property. And now this concocted story, because Malaya, she's no innocent apple in all of this, right? Like, I feel like his family was, her family was blaming Daniel. Because remember, Daniel in their interview said, look, they're accusing me of having something to do with the disappearance of Lily. Why ever would that possibly be? Because again, we have to have a flowing situation here going on. So why ever would that be? So you know what? Bring on the polygraph, bring on the drug test, bring it on. Like Alexa said, that means diddly shit, means diddly squat, besides someone just saying words. So I think that when this whole Haley thing transpired, with Haley talking about, well, you know what? The part that Logan left out is a very important part, because Malaya's side is probably getting sick and tired of listening to Daniel's twisted lies, and he's trying to come out as he's the freaking hero looking for the kids. And don't you guys think it's just a little bit odd that he's just so hell-bent on looking for these children that aren't even biologically, nor is he truly a stepfather? And he says, but they call me dad, right? And all that stuff. And maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Don't care. At the end of the day, Jack and Lily are missing. You guys are lying. So anyways, so when Haley talks about the most important part, well, Darren already told us, and this is, again, third-party information, take it with a grain of salt. Darren already came on here and told us, about that you did drugs, okay? Now, Haley comes on saying, Malaya knows that you've been doing drugs for meth, as a matter of fact, for a couple of years. And her family's blaming you, Daniel. Ask yourself why. Why is the family possibly blaming Daniel? Because perhaps those were his drugs. Now, in saying that, Janie didn't want to let anyone into her trailer, right? I got a dog. Oh my God. I'm just not prepared for all this. Oh, let me sing here. Well, let me just go get my dog out and then you guys can search. I asked Darren, did Janie take a polygraph test? He said, I don't believe so. And he goes, nope, don't think she ever did. Oh, really? That would be a shocker right there. If that were true, Janie doesn't want to let them into the camper. Janie didn't take a polygraph test, hypothetically. Okay, again, this is just me speculating based upon the information that's been told out there, right? So heaven forbid that there's this drug cover-up and possibly what happened to the children. So when this conference happens and Malaya gets an anxiety attack, basically, and Haley says to her, as we heard Haley say, take it with a grain of salt, Haley say, well, the biggest part they're leaving out is the part where, Daniel was in the bathroom, big noise, and we investigated, drugs. And then Haley says to Malaya, like, what the F is going on here? You better start talking, type of thing. And then Malaya breaks down and says about Daniel still doing drugs, according to Haley, right? So when you look at Daniel misdirecting, hypothetically, allegedly, Daniel, when you look at Daniel misdirecting that the sweaters are found, it's not him, the blanket. I'm just going to take a video. Remember, plant, how about that nice clean trike? That very clean trike that's in the backyard that everyone keeps talking about, right? Misdirection, plant over here, but really the kids are the opposite way, right? But not even alive. Don't get me wrong, not alive. Now, don't get me wrong as well, guys. Me and Belinda, I've talked to Belinda already today. And I said that I would say the bigger picture here. So when you start looking at A, B, C, D, what's the chances that you guys think, okay? And I'll be amazed. And if she does, like I said, she'll have to do it. What's the chances that you guys think that JD's going to do an interview on Tuesday or Wednesday? That's me right now. And if she does it, I think she'll just do it maybe for the sake of trying to pretend. Anyways, let me see what you guys said on that one, by the way. So 29% think that Janie is lying. 47% don't think that Janie will do the interview. Well, that's because what I think myself is that it's because they couldn't make their stories match between him and Malaya, but Malaya is culpable too, right? So when you go back to her interview now and look at it like, well, it's possible there could have been an abduction. It's possible. It's because she knows as well. And I bet you any money she is singing like a canary. And that's the whole reason why her family is radio silent and they're not speaking. Because I bet you any money that Malaya has literally been singing like a canary about what actually happened. Because the person who talks first is the one that will walk on there. And that's why I think, if anything, that Malaya's family is shutting up because for the most part, besides that coming out there about the drug things and that, which is would be a very important piece to this case, because there had to be a reason why it's been 2 months. These children are not hiding in some reserve. These children are not hiding. Trust me, guys, when you follow true crime, you know the more people that are involved, the less likely the case is, unfortunately. Right? Someone would have spoken up by now. If these children, it's not realistic. It really isn't. When you start looking at the big picture of this and realize that this has been going on for a couple months now, and we haven't heard hide nor hair. I know we want to believe it. Trust me, I want to believe this. I want to believe it for Belinda's sake. But Belinda's realistic. She doesn't feel like the children are with us still. Why? Because just like anybody, it's unrealistic to think that these children are being hidden on a reserve and all that stuff. What's going on right now, obviously, is to do with Meadow, which is between Daniel and Malaya. But anyways, so in my head, and I hope I said it as clear as I could for the most part, is plot twist, plant, lie about the phone, lie about the 911 call, lie about the morning, lie about Lily coming back and forth lying about the 20 minutes. They concocted a story together because they were both. And I think that Malaya got the heck out of Dodge. Even if her and her mother didn't get along, basically Haley's saying to her, look, you know what? You have a family. We'll have a roof over your head. You have people around you that will love you. Because I think that Malaya, regardless of any involvement or any drugs or anything like that Malaya was in a controlling, abusive relationship with Daniel. That's my thoughts and theory on that, because Malaya's comments would support that from what she's showing. And Daniel's comments show someone of jealousy, right? And I think that in Daniel's eyes, whoa, this all needs to go away. Like, what the heck? Something happening to the kids in that home will set anyone straight in the New York second to freaking get off drugs and stuff like that. So anyways, it's hard to break old habits. But Malaya's, according to Haley, Malaya said that you've been doing meth for 2 years. So is it true? Is it not true? I don't know, Daniel. You want to come up here and you want to dispute anything we've said? Do you want to? Because, the floor is yours if you do.
Sunny, Durwood is in chat. He seems to be upset with the channel.
It's fine. He can be upset because he knows that his fight is for Jack and Lily. If it's changed, then that's different. But Derwin can have his opinion just like we can have ours. And it's through Darren, I will call him. So what's he upset with the channel about? What's he upset with the channel about? Because we're not going for his
6:56 p.m. This channel has become total garbage. Sunny, how much cash do you want to bet Janie does CBC? You've gone a long way too far. Call in, not.
You know what? I don't know. So Darren, he gets really pissy very fast. That's fine, right? But you know what? He started off with this, making it about Jack and Lily. I'm making it about Jack and Lily. And I've already appreciated everything that you have done. But please don't expect me to have the same opinion as you. That's not fair. Because you went on there that day basically saying that Daniel did something. And then you came back And next thing you know, kids are alive, everyone's fine. So I can't see how you can be pissy at me, Darren, right? Because I'm saying what I feel about the case. I've looked at everything, right? I'm not blinded. I'm not in the family circle. I'm looking at everything that everyone's saying. But if he wants to be upset at me, he can. But you know what? I'm like, to me, that's whatever. If he wants to play that and be mad at me, but that's not fair because now he's expecting me to only believe what he's saying. And it's not that we're saying that Darren's a liar at all. It's more the fact of that you can believe Janie, you can believe Daniel, but that doesn't mean that we have to. We're listening to Haley. We're listening to Logan. We're listening to Daniel. We're listening to what your information you're giving out and what Belinda's giving out. I'll be a sellout for nobody, but why can you speak your truth and then I can't speak my truth? Not really fair, Darren, is it? Nah, come on.
Angie, I did read his comment. I don't think she can find it to put it up, but I did read it word for word.
Whose comment?
Durwood O'Grady. Darren.
Well, like I said, if he's mad, I don't even need to see the comment because I know that Darren goes off the handle right away. But maybe once he has time to think about it, like I said, if he wants to be to the side of Daniel and Janie and he wants to believe their story, absolutely. No one's been charged. No one's been anything. But how would it be fair that I only have to believe his narrative now? I'm just taking all the information. I'm not going to be one-sided in this. I'm using the information that's before me. And this is what I see. This is what, just like you had your theory. So I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to think that you can be mad at me all you want. But I think that you're being pretty irresponsible if you think that I should have to take on every thought or thing that Janie and that saying. They won't even come up. Come on now. They're hiding.
Answer you in Messenger. They won't even acknowledge.
They won't even, right. You know, on that same clip here, Darren says, you know what, Daniel will talk to you guys. I was like, and I said to him privately, no, he won't. And he's like, I'll get him to. I knew Daniel wouldn't do it. Absolutely. They want to say all their stuff, hiding behind it because they can't take the heat of actually speaking with someone because then they get caught in their lies. That's how I see it. Okay, this isn't a game at all. Okay, we didn't fall off of a turnip truck yesterday in true crime, right? We're supposed to look at things fairly and then look at the information that's being put out there. And Daniel has done nothing but lied. Malaya, you can't really say too much over there because she's probably the smartest one, really, and hasn't said anything. Why? Because she told Belinda that she's 100% certain the RCMP are going to solve this.
So he said, you've been blabbing for 20 minutes and never once mentioned Jack and Lily. No theory you're stating as facts.
I'm not stating as facts. It's a theory. I'm not stating. Is that what he said? Sorry, I don't. And anyways, what do you mean about Jack and Lily? What do I do for Jack and Lily? Are you kidding me, Darren? Okay, let me put it this way. Old timer, I get it. Okay? You're being grumpy and whatever right now. You cannot talk to me ever again, or you can talk to me. Okay? But I have a right to have my opinion and my theory, and I have a right to look at all the information just like you do. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that. If you want to get grumpy at me, go right ahead. I can take it. I'm a big girl, right? Tell Janie to be a big girl and come sit up here and talk. Tell Daniel to be a big boy. Come sit up here and correct any of the misinformation. They won't. They won't answer me at all. They won't even entertain other channels. They just want to talk only when they're in chat. I'm not buying it. Sorry. It's my right to not buy it. It doesn't make sense. Right? It doesn't make sense. I've looked at everything so far, and there's going to be more coming out, again. And the reason why the pot's been stirred, Darren, is by you. And you said you were about Jack and Lily. So you shouldn't be saying anything to me at all. Because you and I know that this is about Jack and Lily. Now, Belinda knows that. I know that. But apparently now you obviously forgot that. And I thought you were smarter than that, Darren. That you wanted answers for Jack and Lily. Not to be one-sided, looking at it fairly. And if that's who you feel, again, and you want to tell your story for Daniel and Janie, because that's what you believe, but don't put upon your thoughts on what I have to believe. I've listened to you. I ain't playing these games.
We can all have our own opinions, but be respectful, be kind. And I mean, when you're responding to something that seems unkind, I mean, it goes both ways. And you know who I'm talking about. So if Durwood is upset and angry in chat and he's being negative, that's fine, but I mean, you have to expect to get some negative stuff back, but I'm asking everybody to be adults.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, come on, in all of this, let's just be real. You guys have your thoughts in chat. I'm not taking away from your thoughts or theories. I have my thoughts and theories, and I can have those. Charmaine has hers. Kent has his. And at the end of the day, they've been different and off and on different things for a while. In this case, but don't be hypocrites now, right? They are just simply that. It's my thoughts, it's my theories. So if anyone wants to think differently, absolutely. Nobody has been charged. Nobody has been charged in this case. Somebody will be at some point. If that's what you want to talk like, Darren, that's too bad. How much?
That's the one. That's the first one. There's another one after that. Like you're Tom Webster behind in chat. What are you doing?
Who, me? Oh yeah.
Well, you're way behind.
It's because I was talking for a while there. Shelley, stop it to let Sunny know to ready something. What? I'm not sure what that means actually. Shelley, did your math make you angry or aggressive?
No, she's talking about the rug math.
Yeah, the rug.
She's wondering if it makes you angry or aggressive. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe it makes you tired. I don't know.
I'd have to ask my niece. My niece has been on and off it for a long time.
Well, Charmaine, we only have one cadaver. Well, I know, but I mean, Canada is a big country, and to me, I would be if I was devil's advocate. If I was Malaya and I believed my kids were taken out of this world by my ex, and I didn't want to talk publicly and I was trusting the RCMP, I wouldn't be saying that I have 100% faith in the RCMP unless they had cadaver dogs and all resources. And I don't care. There's only one cadaver dog in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia has got neighbors. That's the kind of stuff that you wouldn't shut me up about if I knew in my heart that my kids were no longer alive.
Isn't it funny though? Because Darren already said on the live that this, I won't say his name, Major Crime Unit, already told Daniel that they believed it was him. So I don't know why, but he's changed now. But he wants me to go with all that stuff. And I tried looking at your line of thinking, Darren. I did. I'm very open-minded about the kids being hidden and stuff. And it just doesn't make sense. There's too much lying going on. And it's not realistic still to believe after looking at everything and knowing full well it's not realistic. You want to try to cut me down now and stuff like that and try to be a bully? You can't bully me. All right? You can't.
Okay. Durwood, it's unfortunate, but whatever. He's upset and just ignore him. It's good that people are taking up for Sunny. It is, but just, it's attention. It's taking the focus off where it needs. Sunny's allowed to have her opinion. I've been quite vocal about my opinion over the last little while. So,
You know,
I mean, who's slagging? Who was the first to start slinging mud? I mean, we can pull up the messages where the man who loves Malaya and he was desperately trying to protect her and get her back, hopefully, didn't have a single positive thing to say about the woman.
no.
I mean, if we're talking about who started slinging mud first, I mean, we can point directly at Daniel in reality. So we're all allowed to have our own opinions. And I'm asking chat can be nice to Darren. He's upset.
Darren, you know what? Darren is upset. And he already flew off on the handle with me when he said that we threw him underneath the bus. And then what did we say to each other, Darren? We said if we get mad at each other type of thing, you know, we'll get over it type of thing. Remember you said that? So are you going to be a man of your word for that? Because I know I expected you to be upset because it's not the same thing that you're going with. I like to be fair. I'm not here to have favoritism towards Malaya or Daniel. I'm just here looking at everything that's been said and what makes sense. Okay? I've never claimed it as fact. I've said it multiple times. You can spew at me all you want, and I'll still forgive you because I think you've done a lot of good for this case by stirring the pot. And you can take that as you want that and then maybe apologize a little later if you want. You don't have to. But we had that agreement, remember? Again, I'm not going to get into it anymore because this is actually taking time away from Lily and Jack. Because the whole point of all this, right, Darren, is Lily and Jack. And that's what my focus will never leave about Lily and Jack, right? But I also see bullshit when I see bullshit, okay? Daniel has told multiple lies. Let's not forget that. Daniel has said multiple ignorant things about Malaya. Let's not forget those are his words, okay? I'm just calling what I think is my theory in all this because it makes sense to me with the information coming out. And I'm not going to sit there and be bullied by anybody for the sake of it. I'm doing this for of course, Jack and Lily, but always for the murdered and the missing. Those are the people that truly matter to me. Everything else is just noise, right? Daniel has every opportunity to plunk his ass up here and speak, right? Janie did too. Why are they avoiding me on Messenger? Ask yourself that. Why do they keep avoiding? And this is before all this started, right? But why do they keep avoiding? I'm asking you now, Darren, to go back and look at everything that everyone's saying and then see where you fall with Jack and Lily again. All right. Anyways, you guys. So let's do that. He's not going to talk, Sonny, with the old chat. Yeah, I know. It's fine. You know, I expected this live to be a little bit more dramatic, you know, behind it all, especially when Daniel's in here, you know, and I figured Darren would show up at some point too. And like I said, I don't care. My focus is Jack and Lily. My focus is answers. This is nothing against Daniel or Malaya, but at the end of the day, they're not in the woods. Chances are they've already said it's not a stranger abduction, hence why they didn't put out an alert, right? Darren already said that they said that Daniel was the one, right? Daniel says, well, you know what? I've taken a polygraph test. Basically, they're not even looking at me. He's delusional still. He's delusional if they think that they aren't just because they backed off. No. But yeah, I'll tell you, they put out a $150,000 reward for a reason. It's not because the children are hiding somewhere, you know, on some reservation or somebody else's home. It's just not. I tried. Like I said, I was looking down Darren's line. I truly gave it 100% of looking down everything that he was saying. But was very consistent was the line. And the more that the family members were speaking, the more it was becoming abundantly clear of how, why Malaya's interview, why it was scripted, why Daniel is doing the things he is, and stuff like that. And then you just put the puzzle pieces together once family starts talking. And to me, it seems crystal clear. Well, not crystal clear, but I think I have a pretty good picture of my own thoughts, what happened with Jack and Lily. So you can call Haley a liar. You can call whatever a liar, say that you've done a drug test or that you're taking drug test. Again, you know what? No receipts. You won't come up. You won't say anything. Why? Again, right? Because you know that everything that you say and do, that is, of course, recorded, screenshot, sent to the RCMP, right? So you guys have to hold to your truth. But the thing is that you lied so many times already. How does anyone believe anything you say, Daniel? Because Darren already said that you lied for this reason of Malaya. Darren already said that. Okay, so cut the crap with me. Stop. Let's move on.
Hang on. Whoa, Dearwood. Charmaine, what about you? First mudslinging tonight about you. The first thing I said before I got started was I believe that Dearwood believes this story. I believe that Dearwood believes this information. I did not sling mud at you at all. Not a little bit. The information that you've been fed is what I was calling crap. In my opinion, I was very clear about that. Sorry, Sunny, continue.
Yeah, it's okay. True crime is nothing. A mass goodbye. Done with you. Again, be angry. Be angry at yourself, actually, because you're being a hypocrite, a big hypocrite. What have you accomplished for Jack and Lily? Oh, my goodness. You're trying to hit low blows. You're not even hitting one nerve. All right? Get mad and come back and say you're sorry. All right. Okay. Charmaine, absolutely. She never slagged that. But, Darren's going off on his huffy puffy. It's okay. You know what? Again.
And I think the chat and the entire live has gone askew. So you go ahead and reel it back in and we'll carry on.
Well, you know what I want to do actually, and hi, you guys, 1111's in the house. Thank you so much for that super chat, and obviously, and Nova's in the house as well. Again, anyone that's watching today, thank you guys so much. If you haven't hit that like and the share for Jack and Lily, oh yeah, here you go, there you go, Darren, Jack and Lily. The tribute awareness video I made for them. That one. So I can't even. I'd laugh if I have to actually talk about that stuff, to be honest with you, because you're just being pissy pants, right? So he pissed in his cornflakes. He's coming out roaring, but whatever. It is what it is, okay? Okay, so what I was going to say was, you guys know Bev, right? Bev was, of course, she did a live today. She was having some issues. Bev's a child protection lawyer. What I wanted to do, Charmaine, unless you had anything else, because all I was trying there to show that all Daniel keeps doing is making excuses for why this blanket's going to be here, why these t-shirts are going to be here, bad Malaya, good him, all that stuff. It's what I would consider a pathological liar, is what I would consider a narcissist, a pathological liar. That's how I'm seeing this now. To be honest, I wanted to believe that, to me, that Daniel was telling the truth, but I don't. I don't see it. I think that Daniel is just spinning his web of lies. And perhaps one day he'll get caught in them. Who knows? But then again, he changes the story about his mom. He tells Belinda one thing, then he tells us a different story. Then he says another different story. Come on, guys. How many red flags do we need from that one? Now, again, I said yet last night on last night's live, I said the only reason why I can see Malaya's family not talking is if basically that Malaya is singing like a canary. And that's why that she's been doing what she's been doing. The family, they've literally know the answer already, and they're just waiting for answers to come out. That's why I'm saying, I needed to understand certain things myself about Malaya's interview, about all this lying going on. When you're talking about kids, okay, remember this. Daniel, Malaya, Darren, whoever, Remember this. When you're talking about kids, who should be lying? Who should be lying? We're talking about children, right? So remember, Darren, it's about Jack and Lily. Remember that as you're trying to slag me, as you act like you're this God-given angel all of a sudden. So give me a break on that stuff. Jack and Lily, Darren. That's what you said, right? Jack and Lily. I'm not the person that's sitting here too close to people. I'm the outsider taking all the information in. I call a spade what I see it, and this is what I see. Okay, now with that being said, moving right along. And if he's spewing off in chat, whatever, you know, no need, we're not going to block him. He can just spew off all he wants.
We're not deleting his comments. I can't remember who said that, but we're not deleting his comments.
I don't care.
The crap was not about Durwood or Darren specific. It was about the information that he is being fed, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I'm just scrolling. You guys, I keep getting caught. We're on the same page, Sonny. Never a reason to lie if the kids are just lost.
And if they're just being hidden, then why haven't they been found yet? If they're just being hidden, nobody has said anything.
No.
I mean, come on.
I just want to see what Chelsea said here. Lori McNutt. You know, that's funny. Lori, I was watching, just to ask Lori, I was watching this interview that they had the same last name of somebody that a sheriff or no, a deputy or something that got arrested in Nova Scotia there with that same last name, McNutt. And I was going to ask you if it was of any relation, to be honest, because I mean, I all of a sudden I keep seeing this name McNutt everywhere. And you might have no relation, maybe a ton of McNutts out there, right? Well, actually, that's almost a good last name to have, McNutt. When Logan spoke recently, she said Daniel didn't know about the blanket till MB left after he came out of the woods. That would have been day 2. Yeah. Do you know what, Chelsea? I think the bottom line here is there's just too many lies going on, right? And I think that Logan was telling her portion of the story. I think that Haley came out and Cheryl kind of came out to tell all their portions. And what are those portions showing now? They're showing, regardless, just a bunch of lies. Just a bunch of lies. That's all it is, right? Come on now. We weren't born yesterday. We didn't fall off a turnip truck on there. We followed true crime cases and all that stuff all day long. These newbies that come in that haven't been following true crime, you know, that think that we're freaking morons and stuff. Like I said, you know, spend time in true crime, watching case after case after case after case after case, you know, learning all the things about cases, knowing exactly why people are doing the things that they do, how it usually turns out. This is a situation that we know that if they weren't found within a couple of days, there was something usually not good that was going to come of this case, right? You're trying to hold out hope. You're trying to believe something that might show that line. I went down that line, looked at it. It just didn't make sense. No matter how I looked at it, it's not a normal path to go down. Once it got beyond a few days and stuff like that, it just was not a logical path. But I tried. I went down it. I looked at it. And I just took all the information. And as more information is coming out, it's clear to see. It's just pure lying. A lot of lying. A lot of lying. That's what it is.
The truth never changes.
The truth never changes. Daniel said that.
And you remember things maybe a little bit differently, so there could be variations, but the stuff is completely different.
Oh my God.
Completely different.
I found the end of the chat. Wow. Yep. Okay. So I really do want to go over Charmaine to Bev's channel and pull up, because Bev was doing Malaya's interview on this one. Okay.
1,000% ironclad he knew the kids were alive. I don't think he ever claimed to know where the kids were off-street.
That's right. He didn't claim to know where they were. He claimed 100% ironclad, his source, Janie, that they were alive. Yeah, that's the one that he got mad at for. So let's see how long he stays mad. He can stay mad a lifetime. But I'm holding true. Darren, like I said, you said that we wouldn't, that if there was an argument again, that we would say we were sorry type of thing. So let's see. Let's see if you're a man of your word. We know Daniel isn't. Okay. Okay, let me go to that quickly once. Give me a sec. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a break for a minute. I'm going to need to get a drink. I'm just going to play the tribute video, if you guys don't mind. Again, Jack and Lily. So I'm just going to do that. I'll be right back. And then I'll pull up Bev's live that she was doing earlier today. Bev, child protection lawyer. She was speaking out. Nice bunch of notes and that she had with that. So Charmaine, if you need to go do anything for a few minutes, I'm just going to add this to the stage. Media, take this down, bring it up again. Sunny from It's a Crime and Shame. And someone had sent me this beautiful song called Come Home, Jack and Lily. And I wanted to do Belinda, and I wanted to do Alana King, and all you guys out there, this beautiful little video to attach to it. Thank you so much for the person who wrote the poem. Thank you for fighting for Jack and Lily's army. Please hit the like and the share. Thank you so much.
In the quiet dawn of a May morning, two little hearts went out to play. Lily's laughter, Jack's small footsteps vanished with the breaking day. Come home, Jack and Lily. We're praying for your steer. The woods are deep and silent, but our love will draw you near. Through forest paths and endless trees, searchers called your names aloud. Hope flickered in the morning breeze as prayers rose up to the clouds. Jack and Lily, we're praying for your steer. The woods are deep and silent, but our love will draw you near. Sunsets over Pictou County, stars shine with gentle grace. The community holds a vigil, longing for your embrace. Come home, Jack and Lily. We're praying for your steer. The woods are deep and silent, but our love will draw you near.
Okay. Oh, I forgot Charmaine again. Sorry about that, Charmaine. I keep hitting the. I'm so used to doing lives a lot by myself. And a little bit lately. I know. On there. So again, you guys, I made the video. That one's by itself, as you guys have seen. So of course, if you guys haven't hit that like and the share, do it for Jack and Lily. So thanks you guys for that. And then of course, Belinda, don't forget, you mean everything to me. Thank you for being the warrior for Jack and Lily. Darren, thank you for being the warrior for Jack and Lily as well, regardless of what you're saying in chat today. Thank you for stirring the pot. Thank you for getting people talking. It's all been.
Oh, really? Somebody has been impersonating Durwood in other channels.
Oh,
I don't know if that was him or not. If that was really him, and he got so upset about somebody else's opinion. I mean, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I mean, I was very clear when I said that I believed that Darren believes this information, but to me, it's all crap. And no matter anybody that wants to call me out on that comment, I said in my opinion, and I've been saying in my opinion for the last 6 weeks. So.
Yep.
Hasn't changed.
Alrighty. So anyway, we're good to go. Thank you guys again for being here. Happy birthday to anyone that's having a birthday today. Happy July 6th it is. Lily's birthday is today. I know that. And Teresa's birthday apparently as well. So Kent, you're not passed out yet? He's been doing the Lobster Fest and sending us a bunch of pictures and videos, especially of like the little parade. That was so cute on there. So now that it's over, Kent, rest up. Okay. Thank you so much. SRB. Okay, so what I want to play here is Bev. She was on our channel. She's this wonderful lady that's out of the United Kingdom over there, and she went to do a live. Now, she was having a few hiccups at the first, but I'm gonna go to the part where I'm not even gonna play. Should I even play Malaya's interview? Well, I know we've heard it so many times, but let's see here. Where is she at with this one?
She doesn't want to tell you about.
I gotta turn this up.
And then she talked. Lots of has been made.
Okay.
Huge. I want them home. What happened was we woke up. I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been.
Gotta stop it for a sec, Charmaine.
Yeah.
Russ, come on. That would be Russell McDonald, as you guys know, says, thanks for playing the song I wrote for Jack and Lily, Sonny. It's a beautiful song. And I got to be honest here. Somebody sent that to me about a week ago, and I listened to it and they said, I don't think it's, really about Jack and Lily. And so I kind of discarded it. And then I seen it yesterday again when somebody sent it to me. And then I ended up playing it all. And I was like, wait, this is about Jack and Lily. I was wrong. So I want to admit to that.
Did you sing it as well?
Sorry?
Did she sing it as well? Because it's amazing voice if you did.
Yeah. Are you behind the singing of that? You said you wrote it. And I can tell you're creative, obviously. But I'm thinking that is that your voice behind there? Let's see. Let me just see if I see kind of it's lovely and perfect. Let me know. Let me know if Rushtown says that was her. I'm pretty sure it is, but let's just make sure that we got our ducks in a row.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay. Anyways, but obviously when I see that comment there, honestly, all I wanted to do yesterday after I listened to it, knowing it was such a beautiful song for Jack and Lily, was put a special video out, for, because I seen Belinda had posted it, and like I said, Lana had shared it as well. And it was so beautiful. How could I not make a video about Jack and Lily, since you obviously spent time like others that have written poems or done songs and stuff like that. A case that tears at your heart as well, obviously, which would make you write the song. So just like myself, I like to do tribute videos or awareness videos for a lot of the cases that I follow and stuff like that. So thank you so much for that beautiful song for Jack and Lily. So there you go, Belinda. Belinda Rushhan, of course, that's in the chat. You obviously maybe don't know, but Belinda's a paternal grandmother of Jack and Lily, and she's been fighting for the answers for Jack and Lily, and it's been over 2 months. So anyways, appreciate you. Appreciate that. Anyone, her link is in the description of this video where you can find that song yourself. But yeah, so beautiful job. Thank you so much. And just wanted to put a beautiful video of Jack and Lily behind it. So thank you so much for that. Okay. That makes me nice to know that she came in.
Issued not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware, someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found, want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful.
Yeah.
But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Last few days are very stressful.
Okay, so that's Malaya's one and only attempt at public speaking about this case. That in itself strikes me as extremely strange, because most innocent parents are going to be screaming from the rooftops in any way they can, saying, please help find my children. Well, that's the first thing that concerns me. But let's have a look. So this particular interview we'll go through first. And the first, by all means, screenshot this if you want to look at it later. But the first bit that struck a chord with me was, and what happened was, because that seems to be someone setting up a story, it's an introduction. If you're recalling actual facts, things that did happen, you're unlikely to want to put that introduction in. We then have that she was drifting in and out of sleep, which gives us what's called a temporal jump, or a temporal gap. So it's a time jump, particular piece of time during which you would want to navigate into that bit of time when you're questioning them or when you're cross-examining them in a hearing. You would want to be kind of probing and seeing what is it, what's she jumping over that she doesn't want to tell you about. And then she talks, lots of has been made about this. So, and they are not the kind of kids we tell them not to go outside on their own. Now, I think she was about to say something. That pause was, she was going to say they're not the kind of kids that usually do something. Probably go out on their own. She changed her mind. Now, why? Is that because they do often go out on their own? And there is some indication later on in her messages with Belinda that that is the case, because she describes them wandering a lot. And then she goes on to say that she's always outside watching them, or they are. Now that, for me, it's just covering neglectful parenting. There's no reason to describe that in an emergency situation where you're looking to seek help for the return of your children. So to me, it is a way of glossing over a lack of proper supervision. We know the children were up playing in the next room. They were both still in bed. And that in itself isn't an issue, assuming that your house is sufficiently childproof. But it would appear that this one was not. We also know that there's a CPS background to this case.
Okay, I gotta stop that for a second again. Sorry, Sonny, I wrote the lyrics, but I don't sing. Sounds like me. I can do so much. But my voice, my husband's like, you should be doing that 10 or 15 feet away from me, to be honest with you. We're so low, I can't hear you. And so she says, AI sings my voice. I need AI to sing my voice, Charmaine. I can write songs. She said my voice ain't so angelic when it comes out, right?
It's an app. You can get an app.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to try that out. Make myself sound freaking angelic and everything like that. Anyways, thanks. That's crazy, eh? What AI could do nowadays. Thank you, though. That was beautiful. Okay.
And the other thing for me is we tell them not to go outside on their own would suggest that they do like to go out on their own, because if you've got to tell them not to, that's usually a response to the actions of the child. So I think that that is deceptive or gives indications of deception. And then she talks about they just happen to get out of the sliding door. Well, how the heck does she know if she's asleep? You would literally say, I don't know what happened, but woke up and they just weren't there. I don't know how they got out, or if someone came and got them. I haven't got a clue. The fact that she's conclusive about it is the type of thing that we see from parents who have some kind of guilty knowledge about what happened. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's her that's done something to the children. It just means she's got some knowledge about what occurred. And she talks about the fact that they can't hear the sliding door when it opens. And honestly, I will eat my hat or, you know, run down the street wearing a princess outfit if it turns out that that sliding door is in fact silent. I would remove the current comment, but I don't know how you do that. Remove me instead. I literally have got no idea how you do that with the comments. Right. So, can you see me now? You don't need to see me. Hang on a minute. You can't see the material either, can you? Hang on a minute. Let me try and re-add it, but I'm sorry, guys. I'm not doing very well at this today. Probably ought not to be doing it. I'm quite tired. There we go. We're actually almost at the bottom of this page, so I apologise, but you can screenshot it and catch up in terms of reading through it later. Now, when she talks about the fact that they were playing outside, again, she's talking about a time period where she says that she was asleep or drifting in and out of sleep. How does she know what they were doing? They could have been going to the end of the road to catch the school bus because they felt like they were feeling better, or in fact, they'd never been poorly in the first place. They could have been going on an adventure. They could have been going to find Daniel's mum because she was in the next trailer along. There's all manner of things that they could have been doing. So again, it's that conclusiveness. It doesn't lend itself to what an innocent parent would do. Now, there's another temporal jump here, another time jump, because she says the next thing we knew, it was quiet. She doesn't describe the time frame anywhere in this interview, which again concerns me a little bit. And then she talks about, and we get up. So can any of you spot what's happening there? So we've been, it was quiet. The next thing we know, it was quiet. And then we get up. So she's jumped into present tense. Usually when someone jumps into a different tense, it's a place to start focusing on when you're speaking to them, but also it can suggest that they are recalling a script or a story, not something that actually happened. It's really hard when you're watching her interview and some of Daniel's to look at their facial expressions and really draw any conclusions, because they're obviously in sunlight. You can see that they're both kind of squinching their eyes.
Stop this just for 1 second, just to let people know again. This is Bev. She's a child protection lawyer out of the United Kingdom, and she's as well been a defense lawyer as well. She's got 26 years together in all of that. So she's been on this live. And again, I know she has the British accent. The laws in Canada are very similar to that in the United Kingdom, unlike our friends down south, which are in the United States. Very different laws. The privacy in that in Canada, when it comes to cases, are next to nothing, to be honest with you. United States, whole different burger over there. But I just wanted to reiterate who this was. She's a child protection lawyer out of the United Kingdom. So for me, she's just going through Malaya's about the different things, of course, that she's saying. And again, the inconsistencies, really. And my thoughts are this. I believe that both of them are absolutely culpable, you know, in my personal opinion, that they're both culpable. But I feel like Malaya's singing like a canary behind the scenes. And that obviously Malaya's family is blaming Daniel for a reason for this. So I'm not by no means thinking that Malaya is innocent or anything of all this whatsoever. But I was just looking for what all made sense if you put it together, based upon the information coming out and stuff like that, and why all the lying is going on, because you shouldn't be lying. When it comes to Jack and Lily and the children, if there's lying going on, it's because you're hiding the truth. it's because you know something, right? Like I said, I can sit there and like I said, have my opinion like anybody else can. And at the end of the day, right? One day the answers are going to come, and then we'll fully know exactly what went on. Well, maybe not fully because we're in Canada, guys. But you know, we'll know when if somebody gets charged or not, and who will, and stuff like that. But anyways, we might not ever see those 911 call like you would in the States, and stuff like that. But again, it's about Jack and Lily and answers, and it's about trying to find the truth between the lies. Now remember, this is all noise, this part of it. Does Daniel actually mean anything to me personally at all? No, right? Am I thinking, oh, I hate Daniel and want to think that Malay is innocent? Absolutely not. I'm just trying to go right down the middle of this and give them both, you know, thought to what has been going on, what's been being said, what they've done, what they haven't done, the lies that are being told, or the hiding. I shouldn't say hiding, but whatever. She hasn't come out. She's been radio silent and stuff like that. But again, we have to look at the big picture of it all. And does it make sense, right? But why is there lying going on? Why? Why? You have to ask yourself that.
There are things obviously about Malaya that bother me, and a lot of them I don't really say too much about because she's not out there, you know, spreading a narrative. But one of the things that really stuck with me, that really bothered me, that I didn't see a whole lot of people talking about, was in her text messages with Belinda.
Mm-hmm.
She was protecting Meadow from CPS. And
yes.
I mean, I know what we all think about CPS, the bigger picture, but honestly, why isn't anybody saying the obvious, that the only protection that you can give your kids against CPS is being a decent fucking parent? Literally, that's all you have to do to protect your kids from CPS, is be a decent parent. And like that comment just kind of showed me where her mind is at.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just a slip of the tongue or whatever. It was in a text message to Belinda with a thoughtful conversation behind it. So to me, what does she think in her life where CPS is the enemy? Does she not understand what she's doing wrong, why CPS is knocking at her door?
Well, exactly.
Why that she needs to protect her kids from CPS, and that's got nothing to do with her parenting skills.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that to me speaks volumes about where Malaya's mind is at. When it comes to being a mother.
I think it was very clear throughout her interview too, and through the messages. She was absolutely trying to portray, once it came out that CPS has already been to their home, whatever, for a few months and stuff like that. Now, Malaya didn't make a comment on it. Daniel made a comment on that for that. But I think it was kind of clear that she kept backtracking on herself. Like she kept double talking herself by saying that the kids are, you know, they're always underneath supervision, even in Belinda's text, they're always underneath supervision, except for that one time, you mean? And then she would say that they normally don't go out to the road, that they normally don't go out this way. Well, so that means that they're not always supervising, because you say that they normally don't go out to the road. Well, that means that they're outside playing out there. But she was trying to do that, I believe, everything to do with portrayal for Meadow probably, is to portray like, no, we're just good parents here. You know, this just happened to be that one time. Go ahead.
But the kids weren't status until they went missing, guys, and Meadow still isn't status. So you're right, I don't understand the difference and the struggles. I have never gone through that, especially with First Nations being involved at all. But the kids weren't status to be protected from what? From what?
I think people are still trying to associate
that. I mean, if that's a legitimate, you know, thing, that she could be scared that somebody's going to come take her kid, even though she's a good mom. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to say what's in my head, and sometimes it comes out wrong, but I'm just saying that if you're worried about CPS taking your kids, why aren't we reflecting on why CPS are looking at me anyways? My parenting, are my kids okay? I don't understand that, and I don't know that anything with First Nations CPS, when the kids aren't status, would have anything to do. And I'm not being facetious or anything. I really don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Malaya isn't no freaking innocent victim in all this by no means. I don't
No,
believe so at all.
absolutely not. And even if that's what triggered this whole thing, a CPS threat or, a visit by them, if that's what triggered this whole thing, whatever happened, then obviously they have no parenting skills to understand why CPS would be looking at them anyway. What started that in the first place, to fix it and maybe work with CPS instead of whatever this is, right?
If what Haley said was true as well, right? If what Haley said was true, she said, Malaya said that, he's been doing it. So let's say that Darren was right, that Daniel stopped doing drugs for about 3 years ago, let's just say. And then, like my niece, go down that same road. I don't know how many times my niece has been down that road. I'm venturing to say at least 15 or 20, to be honest, off and on and off and on. So bottom line is, if it's true what Haley said, right, about, hey, you're forgetting about this part, she said to Malaya, you know what, Malaya, you need to basically be honest here and what's going on. And she said that Daniel has been doing meth for 2 years. That means, and then so Haley was like, are you kidding me? Like, you're literally, because she has a child, and that's like any parent would think, right? That's not into drugs and stuff like that. You're like, so you literally have known this for 2 years and you put your children in this situation, right? And we don't know what Malaya, if she was doing drugs or not doing drugs herself over there. Who knows? Like I said, bottom line is both of them are lying. And it really becomes about who turned on who. If Malaya turned on Daniel because she felt that she had to place blame on Daniel because maybe those happened to be allegedly his drugs in the home that maybe created the children's deaths, right? Then obviously that would be a reason why Malaya's family would blame him, because I kept looking at, like, why is Malaya's family blaming him? Why? Because he was supposed to not get out of bed and stuff like that. Again, their whole timeline of the whole bed thing is a lie. We know that, right? It's a lie because there's too many inconsistent stories. They can't even keep the story straight because they're bad liars. But again, if Malaya, regardless, is singing like a canary to the RCMP because she already knows what happens to the children, and that's maybe why when Bev's touching on, like, a mother would be screaming from the rooftop, doing certain things. But if you already know the fate of your children, and then you're just waiting for, the RCMP to figure out where Jack and Lily are, which is not in hiding. Maybe she didn't want Daniel to have visitation. Are you talking about that the CPS there? That's what I think. That's what I kind of thought. What do you think about that? Like, that when she took off, it's because Daniel was going to have visitation and she didn't want him to. And so she
possibly, but again, she knew under that, I can't remember what Bev called it, but it's like a CPS order, supervision order. She knew that by taking Meadow, she was going to lose her. So again, it shows me where her mind is when it comes to being a responsible parent. I mean,
right.
Am I wrong to think that? I mean, if she took off under a supervised visit order, she was allowed to have Meadow under her mother's supervision, and she took off wanting to keep Daniel from having any visitation. she knew the consequences of that would be losing Meadow, and she did it anyway. How is that protecting Meadow? Because now she doesn't have either of them. In fact, didn't Daniel have supervised visit after that? So
good night. Good night, Ruskin. Thank you again for the beautiful song. Their truth will be told event. It will. It will. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Can I hit play again? Hey, you're muted as you said that.
no, I didn't. What? I was talking to Ian. He just walked in and he's about to get naked. So I told him not to do it. I had my camera on.
Now, come on, Ian. The internet seen my husband's ass, or some people did, when he sat up one day during a moment of my stupidness here. Her husband is being unfairly treated by CPS, advocating. I'm currently supporting. I was going to say, I wasn't sure what you said there. Sorry. I'm currently supporting a mom who has been unfairly treated by CPS. I'm advocating against parents, alienation, and social worker. Does happen a lot, and it's disgusting, and not saying it's happening here. Gotcha. Thank you, Women's Warrior. I know you've sent me an email, by the way, on there. Okay. I'm going to play a little bit more. I'm going to play a little bit more because I think how Bev is seeing this as well, regardless, right?
It's really hard to look at things like blink rate, whether or not they've got the here, all of those things. So,
let me ask, can you understand her English accent?
Mostly. I just like to clarify, he wasn't getting he was showing me that his shorts ripped. My bad. I mistook what he was doing, so it's all good. We're good.
A little bit of middle entertainment there. Okay.
For me, the way that I usually do things is I focus most on the words. I'll then look at someone's overall demeanour and behaviour and look for deviations from what's normal for them. But usually I'm looking at them in a court situation and you can see what they're doing very clearly. You're in artificial light. There's no kind of lights glaring at them or anything like that. So it's much easier. But the change in intent, it bothers me. And then she described that she tells Daniel, do you hear the kids? I'm going to assume that I tell him, do you hear the kids, is a kind of a colloquial phraseology rather than it being an unusual choice of language. But she contradicts Daniel, who says he realised the kids were quiet and woke Malia up. So they both say virtually the same script in the beginning, and that one bit differs. So that makes me think it's a script, and they've muddled that bit up in their telling. Now, she goes on to...
Okay, hold on one second. So, again, she's saying there again about the script. I think a lot of people feel like that's a script, except for the script went off because then the lies started coming out and everything. And then the thing is that I don't think that they were at all prepared to, like, they had a little bit of a story together. But of course, if you're not used to having to face, like this type of situation, the lies, they just start to crumble and come out right before their very eyes. And I think that that's exactly what was happening. Belinda says, I heard Lily and Jack do not have status. I'm going to tend to agree with that, actually, but are recognized as members of the band through their mother, right? I'm going to agree with that because a lot of people, especially from the reses, they've been saying, like, you know what? No, in order to be have status, you need to have like your card and different stuff, and that takes time. So I probably agree exactly with what Belinda's saying here, based upon what a lot of people from the Indigenous community have been talking about when it comes to how you gain status and stuff like that. So this makes more sense to me. It's probably one of those things that was said but wasn't maybe Daniel said it a certain way about status when really it was that they were maybe
Well, it's in
recognized.
my messages with Daniel.
Yeah, he said that.
That he
Right.
said that. Yeah.
No, exactly. But maybe he used the wrong term by chance when he said that. Maybe he just used the word status when maybe.
No, because he said that they'd applied 3 times before that, and then
Yeah.
he said something along the lines, but the kids were granted status after they went missing, but Meadow still hasn't been. So, I mean, that's, to me, that's pretty clear, but you're right, maybe.
What does Caper say? Caper by. Regardless if they are under CPS or MFCS, the NS Minister of Children Welfare Protecting is in charge. MFCS has to report all investigations and children taking into their custody to that office. Yeah, thank you guys for.
I don't know. Little Mama, how would he know if they got status or not? Like, I've always wondered that. I don't know.
I feel like we have a Miss Dog Lover in the house. You know that person that says that they're going to bed, and then they're still here in chat. So we have a friend called Miss Dog Lover. She always tries to trick us and say she's leaving and going good night. I couldn't get enough of this channel, could you? Yeah, just teasing you. Miss Dog Lover does this all. She does this all the time. Okay, you guys, good night. The next thing you know, she pipes up in chat. She does that multiple times.
To say she instantly just calls 911. For me, the word instantly is quite unnecessary because that's what you'd expect somebody to do. They've realised the 4 and 6-year-olds are missing. You would be calling 911. But also, you have to ask the question, and this is just a question, was it instant? Because we've seen a message from Daniel where he says that she had to ask him, should I call the police? And there is also kind of the Darren Geddes description of what happened that morning, which again is not an instant calling of 911. So there are some things which contradict that. And then she just had the instinct to call. Well, yes, again, that's quite an unusual thing to want to justify because it's what you'd expect somebody to do. And then when she talks about the children here, I like the fact that she's saying nice things about them. They're really go-lucky children, which I think she means happy-go-lucky. They're sweet, they'll talk to anyone. That's good. That's a good indication. But Norcraft, did they write this script themselves? I would say it's likely to be the two of them that have agreed it between themselves. And I say that because it's not a very good script. So there are no time references. It's very, very vague. It's only got the real basic information in it. So I think they've panicked. This is my opinion. Whatever happened, they panicked. They created a very brief story that they could tell the police and the media, not realising that the police are going to dig and dig hard. This is a 4 and a 6-year-old. They're going to delve as deep as they can get into what is between these little gaps that are present in the story and into any contradictions between the two of them. When she goes on to talk about they'll talk your ear off, they'll talk to anyone, they'll speak to anyone in the store, everyone. That's 3 times in succession that she's talked about the fact that they'll speak to anybody. There are 2 issues that I've got with that. One is, it seems like she's trying to set the narrative in terms of there's a possible abduction. We know that later in this interview, she goes on to talk about wanting an Amber Alert. The other is if the children are wandering around outside and you've just told the entire nation that these children are really friendly and they'll speak to anybody, that sets them up to be abducted if they hadn't been in the first place. You know, any predators in the area, you're giving them free rein to go and find your kids and coax them into their car. So, not a good move. But also, we know that when Darren came out and described what he believes happened, that he says that Malaya put the children in the car and sent them off. If that was true, it would make no sense whatsoever to point the police in that direction, or the public, or to ask for an Amber Alert. It just doesn't make sense. You're pointing them in the direction of what has actually happened. If you're trying to hide something, you point them in the opposite direction, which I think in a lot of the things that have been said in this case, they are actually doing. Again, she talks about them being really sweet kids. That's good. She appreciates the huge search effort and she's pushing for an Amber Alert. So I've just described why that doesn't make sense in terms of Darren's description of what likely happened. But also, most parents are like, I appreciate there's a huge search effort going on, but for crying out loud, find my children, you're not doing enough. Get more searchers, get more dogs, do something. There isn't any of that. There's no urgency in the way that she's speaking. And I'll come on to why I think that might be in a minute. Goes on to talk about it's been raining and they'll probably be soaking wet. Now, at first glance, that sounds quite good. It's indicative of what an innocent parent might say, because you expect an innocent parent to be thinking about what suffering they might be going through at that moment in time. But then she goes on to say, with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they're feeling warm. And that to me is utterly bizarre. You wouldn't be thinking about them snuggled up warm somewhere or sunbathing. You would be thinking about, oh my God, it was so cold and so wet, and where have they got shelter? And, you know, have they been able to find somewhere that's at least a little bit safe until we can find them? And again, there is absolutely none of that. And then this is the one piece of the interview that if I had to narrow down into one huge red flag, this would be it. We are all filled with pain and sorrow, because those words are not indicative of panic because you've lost your children. And I think most parents can understand that feeling a little bit, because most parents have gone through that phase where you look away, you look back, and they're not there, and this complete panic just courses through your body. The adrenaline hits you full force because you think, good God, where have they gone? Where are they? What do I need to do? My one experience of that was my daughter thought it was hilarious to hide in the middle of one of the circular clothes rails in a clothes shop. And it worked for a good probably about 30, 40 seconds before she started giggling, and then I knew where she was because I could just follow the sound. But that feeling will never leave me. I can still recall it like it was happening right now. None of that's demonstrated by Malaya at any point during this interview. In fact, she's got quite a flat affect. You can see some emotions there. And for me, they do fall more into the sorrow, pain, grief category. So pain and sorrow, they're more like the words that you would associate with grief. And I think that is a huge piece of leakage about exactly, Nova. It's very much a statement of finality. Sonny, you've had the same thing where they're hiding in the clothes. It scared the living daylights out of me. Jamie was still in a trolley at that point, so she can only have been maximum kind of 3 because they're so close together. Never in my life do I ever want to have that feeling. The only other time I've come close to it is when she rang me and said she desperately needed picking up in the centre of Manchester, but she couldn't describe where she was. That's a slightly different kind of panic though, because at least I know she's old enough that she can kind of look after herself. But she was in a bit of a panic about something herself at that point. Couldn't get her to explain where she was. So she next goes on to describe everybody loving the children. Everyone loves them. Doesn't say, I love them. I love them so much. Jack and Lily, you're my world. Do you love these children, Malaya? Do you love not just these kids, which is what you referenced them as all the way through that interview, but do you love Jack? And do you love Lily? Because they have names. And they deserve to be referenced by their names because they are both beautiful, individual, little shining souls. That have absolute immense meaning in this world. Sorry, that's me getting just a little bit emotional about it. This is why I do the job that I do. Certainly don't do it for the money, because it's like the worst paid legal job on the history of the planet. I do it because I want to make a difference for children. That's why I like to come on YouTube and talk about children's cases, why I consume so much material about them. I read serious case reviews in my spare time. Children are my reason for living, mine and other people's. It's also why I've kind of lost my pony to my friend's granddaughter. She needs some help at the moment with her own emotional world, and so Honey's providing it. I never get to, well, no, that's not true. 3 days a week, she's adopted Honey. And for me, that's just a natural thing to offer and do and provide, because it's a child who needs something. They need help. And I know that Honey can provide that, probably better than I ever could. She's the best counsellor. And she's never got a particularly strong opinion about things. well, generally. But back to Malaya. She talks about wanting to remain hopeful. And this feeds back into the finality of the situation. So I just want to remain hopeful. But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Well, those two things can be broken down. If you just want to do something, that means that you want to do it, but you can't. Why can't you remain hopeful? Is that because you've got some knowledge about what happened? And in terms of thinking the worst, I think absolutely in some respects your brain goes, oh my God, something terrible might have happened. But in terms of missing children, generally speaking, the innocent parents that we have seen remain hopeful forever. As long as those kids are missing, they will remain hopeful that one day they're going to walk back through the door. They'll have found their way home. Jill, that sounds very familiar. You know, the kids, they're explorers. And before a particular time in their development, they've got no concept of the fact that there's a risk in anything that they do. So if they think, oh, I'm going to go and explore and I want to know who lives in that house, or they know that somebody fun lives in that house across the road or wherever it might be, then they'll go. I think the difficulty with these children is there were no neighbours. And it's going to be going slightly off topic a little bit, but it's going to be really hard to kind of track where they might have gone, because I know they've collected very many hours of footage, but it's from things like trail cams. There isn't, you know, neighbours with ring doorbells all pointing at a similar element of road, traffic cameras, number plate recognition. It's not that kind of area. So it's going to be very hard for them, I think, to dig up the material that they need if they can. And yeah, Jill, always better safe than sorry. I'd far rather ring the police and then be told, oh, actually, your child just popped around to say hello and pet the dog, than it is that one time when something has happened and they've been taken from the garden, or, you know, they've wandered off and fallen into water or something. Better that the police are there quick and aren't needed than aren't called in the first place. But I think there are clear indications that Malaya has got some knowledge of what has gone on. She makes that very plain in the wording that she uses. But just in terms of some extra bits and pieces about what I thought about that interview. So she doesn't come across that she's curious about Daniel's involvement. So if she's drifting in and out of sleep, what's to say that he didn't wake up and do something? She doesn't seem particularly upset or panicked. And panic is, even though it was the day after that this interview occurred, you would still be in sheer panic. That adrenaline there may be peaks and troughs in it, but the adrenaline would still be flowing for, you know, quite a long period where you've got this type of incident. She doesn't say the children's names. She doesn't talk about how they might be suffering and what they might be experiencing, apart from that one comment about being wet. She doesn't speak to them directly. So most innocent parents, even though they're young children, she would direct it to them, because that's all that you're thinking about is, please, babies, please, Jack, please, Lily, please come home. She doesn't ask for help. She doesn't give a call to action. All of those things are what you'd expect from an innocent parent. But the interview strikes me as two things. One, it's a script that her and Daniel have created to lay a narrative in place to cover up whatever happened. And two, it's about perception management around their parenting, not about Jack and Lily. The other thing as well is when she talks about their the fact that they're verbal and, you know, they speak a lot and they speak to everybody. It's the only section of the interview where she ums and ahs during it. So she says it's just that they have issues with school and they don't catch up with the other kids. Now, that gives me the impression that the script did not go that far. That was a response to a question, I think, because other people had described them as non-verbal. It makes no difference whether they're verbal, non-verbal, other than it gives people an indication of how to approach those children. So it's best to be as honest as you can be. And they may very well speak, but I think one of the teachers described it as they're low verbal, so mum can understand them fine, but other people might struggle to understand them, and that would be an important piece of information to give the public. But it definitely struck me that the script didn't go quite that far. So what's anybody saying? Jules, yeah, she didn't make a plea for anyone to let the kids go. Absolutely, and she didn't seem panicked. So there was no plea to anybody. There was no plea to kidnappers. There was no plea to the public to help. And there was no call to action. So normally you'd say, ring the RCMP. And the media channel would then put the number across the screen at the same time. But she didn't do that. And I agree with you, Jill. Unfortunately, I think it is a very strong possibility that is true. In terms of leaving the property, well, potentially, but whether they were alive at that point, that's, I suppose, the question. And it may be that there is some truth in what Darren has said. The bit that's missing is those children weren't actually alive at the point they were put in the car and driven away. Although, if I am absolutely honest, the thing that struck me the most in terms of how those children may have been moved was that four-wheeler that Daniel's brother was sat on, because it was sparkling. And when you compare that to the rest of the property, it really stood out. So for me, I suspect that might have been involved. They're acting like two people, their children overdosed on drugs. You know, that's a good possibility. There's been speculation about the use of drugs and mathematics in the property, and certainly would explain both children being impacted, because if they've seen it and thought, you know, they're playing together and they see it and they try it together, then that would have had disastrous consequences. Yeah. The picture definitely does speak 1,000 words, and I think all the pictures of that property speak 1,000 words, and the ATV just stood out like a sore thumb. So there's two different CPS agencies that Norcraft is saying. There is Nova Scotia NS Child Welfare Services and the Mi'kmaq Family and Children's Services. I would expect that the children's services that have been involved previously would not be the Indigenous.
Dolly, 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 Dolly. Dolly, you haven't emailed me. I want to do a live with you. Hey, buddy. How you doing? There's Dolly's in the house there, Charmaine. Dolly's in the house.
Hello, Jimmy. Do you remember my name now?
Yeah. You had such struggling at first with your name, eh?
Yeah.
On there, yeah. Anyways, yeah. You bring me a drink, Dolly? I could use a drink from your tiki bar on there. Nice to see Dolly. I want to do a live with you. Do. It'll be a great live. Do it on your channel. I'll come sit behind your desk. You know, just tell PJ peanut butter jelly time. Yeah. Don't you think that would be a good live?
I think it would be hilarious, actually. I like listening to Dolly when I'm in bed going to sleep because he always makes me giggle.
Well, imagine listening to Sunny and Dolly.
I know. It'd be
while you're sleeping.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah. On there. But he hasn't emailed me. Email me at crimingshame@gmail.com. Email me, Dolly. So going back to this, she basically said a lot of the same stuff that I was saying throughout the, part about the whole Daniel thing. I want to say this too, right? I know Dolly's thoughts on this as well as what he's saying, and Dolly's not a stupid person at all. He's got the number going on as well, right? And sees it now. But so Bev, I'm down. Just pick. Oh, really? Okay, I know, but you have Messenger or something, Dolly, or an email I can message you to at least do you have Messenger? Because I'm down. I know I got my 10-year anniversary coming up on Friday, Charmaine. On there. What are you sending me a limo, Charmaine? I mean, it keeps going from here. Your birthday was over and all that stuff. Do. Definitely, I think that would be. Dolly makes me laugh. I'm pretty funny myself. Sometimes my husband's funnier though. On there. But yeah, do you have an email, buddy? I already told you mine. Now you got to give me yours. But Bev was saying a lot of the same stuff. Okay. And again, everyone still, regardless, has their own opinion, but to me, everyone that's coming out talking now, I think it's painting to me a clear picture with all the lies going on, and Daniel, like I said, he won't come up. Janie won't come up. We'll see if she does the interview. I mean, hey, right. We've got tomorrow or the Wednesday. Supposedly she's supposed to do an interview. We'll see at the end of the day. But my thing is that I think to me, when Haley came out and said the drugs, about drugs, right? Knowing that, again, I have a niece that's been hooked on that crap and off of it since she was 15 years old, and she's 35 and stuff like that. Bev here is saying, look, why, she says Amber Alert. Now, I don't know if you guys caught that when Bev was talking there about the Amber Alert, right? So if you truly think that your kids, or put your kids in a vehicle and stuff, and there's an Amber Alert that's put out, right? The cops are going to be stopping everybody. I just think that after I've looked at everything with regards myself to this, I think I do not believe the children are alive. And I hate saying that I feel that way, but again, I tried to go down the whole hidden thing. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Daniel clearly has been lying. He's making excuses for the sweaters, for the blanket. the timeline, changing it. Next thing you know, he adds his mom to doing potholes and a boot print, and Malaya, seeing Malaya. He tells us about coming out of the woods. I don't care what you guys say. Like I said, I'm just here to point out all the red flags. All I want is answers for Jack and Lily, right? And kind of like how Bev thought there too. She feels that probably the children didn't even get off that property alive, and that maybe they were taken. And that's when she said, I think that maybe Darren could have part of that, right? When, they were taken off that property. And I think it's a case of misdirection. Look over here where the boot print is. Look over here where the blanket is, because that's planted. And then, you know what? But really, they're way over here. It reminds me of the Barry Morphew case. And it just lies and lies. If you're lying about Jack and Lily and you want to sit there and lie, and then don't get me wrong, you guys, I think Malaya is absolutely culpable that she left her kids probably in a bad situation. And you know what? Like I said, they'll get their own karma, whatever that is, if they have any involvement with their disappearance. I personally believe that, in my personal opinion, that there's family involvement, absolutely. And then it's just a matter of, like I said, Daniel can keep playing his games of popping in and saying stuff and all that stuff. Again, I just like the fact that people are talking. The more information that comes out has given me personally a clearer picture of the puzzle pieces now starting to fit together. Why Malaya's interview was the way it was, why Daniel's lying, why there's this kind of what seemed to be a cover-up, basically, to the truth. And again, if you have nothing to hide and truthful, well, Daniel keeps preaching that, right, Daniel? How many times have you said that you always tell the truth, that you don't lie, right? I think you're a big pathological liar, and I think that you're a bullshitter, and I think that you're trying to make us believe something, but you're playing a game in the true crime community. And the more that you talk, the more you make yourself look ridiculous when you don't come up and speak out and want to clear up any of these facts that are clearly lies, and you don't want to come up here or on any other channel. I think that says a lot. Absolutely. Again, like I said, you're not playing with a young chicken here. You're playing with somebody who literally looks at people, looks at the whole situation. Charmaine, she stayed steadfast with you, to be honest with you. She stayed steadfast.
What?
Huh?
I what?
You have stayed steadfast. Do you want the dictionary for that one? Because I know that.
No, I know what that means. So, what do you mean? Like on my
no, on your whole thing that you've never believed that the kids are hidden. Right. You absolutely do not believe that the children are hidden. I don't believe that the children are hidden. I think that's it was something that I wanted to look at because I wanted to be fair in my own personal fight for justice, for answers. Because at the end of the day, you guys, I realize my focus is Jack and Lily, right? That's the focus of it all, right? Answers for Jack and Lily. Be Jack and Lily's army. Keep the focus where it belongs. Not anyone, not Malaya, not Daniel, not Darren, not Belinda. Nobody is going to stop me from my focus, which was just wanting to bring any answers we could bring, get any information. Again, thank you, Darren. You've stirred the pot. My opinion just is different than yours because I've looked at everything and there's too many lies coming out of Daniel. There's just too many. And why would you lie in the sake of Lily and Jack? They're not important. The lying is what, this cover up. And Malaya is just as culpable of all this, keeping her children in a situation if the drug angle thing is true. And I kind of believe it is myself. Absolutely. Right? I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense why this is happening. And what person, you guys, come on now, legitly, what person claims that if you find sweaters, they're just planting it against me? If you find, the blanket or whatever, they're just planting it. So Daniel lied about the blanket, right? He said it wasn't Jack or Lily's, right? Malaya saying, I believe so. Again, the reason why Malaya would stay there that night, you guys, is because they were too busy writing freaking a script to their story, what their answers were going to be, right? Obviously something to me went on in this house, and they're both covering it up. And it's just a matter of, again, if Malaya goes off and she starts singing like a canary, because she does get out of there, and then she starts singing like a canary the truth, right? Again, her family would know. This would match exactly what Bev is saying, who is a child protection lawyer, right? This would match exactly why the emotions aren't coming across as urgent. She's trying to portray like, well, an abduction, because her emotions aren't there, because she knows exactly what happened to Jack and Lily. So that's why you're not going to have, she knows the truth, but she knows that her and Daniel were lying. They literally scripted it. I mean, honestly, I don't think there's barely anybody that thinks that it wasn't scripted, you know? And then the lies just start breaking down and falling apart. And then this truth starts coming out of it all. That's all I want. I'm not against Daniel because I hate Daniel. I'm not against Malaya because I hate Malaya. I don't really give a shit about Daniel and Malaya. If they had anything to do with it, they'll get their just desserts. I just care about Jack and Lily. Isn't that why we're here? I mean, that is not the point. You guys want answers for Jack and Lily? Your truth doesn't have to be my truth. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Lies, cries, and alibis. Yep.
I just think that if they both knew, the other would have turned by now. And especially if Malaya is, singing like a canary to the RCMP, Daniel would be, they would be minimizing their own involvement at this point. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think I don't think they did it together. I think Malaya has a good idea of what happened.
Yes.
And trust the police to prove it. But like I said, if at that point, if I truly, truly believe that, I would still be yelling from the mountaintops, bring the cadaver dogs, find my children. Like,
oh no.
So no excuses. No excuses.
What I see is this, that the children were up playing. They got into the drugs, right? They got into the drugs. They would be dead. And, so like I said, that whole 8 o'clock morning thing is just a bunch of crap about Lily coming in and out of the room. Their stories start the same and then they start separating. Now, now you made a point there that I was just going to add to about Malaya. Now, I do think Malaya probably is singing like a canary to it because, again, right, the first person to talk. So I think that Malaya blamed Daniel. This is my opinion, guys, that she blamed Daniel, and that's why her family was blaming Daniel, because about the drugs and that something happened to those babies. And I think that Malaya blamed Daniel for that. But again, I think that she's culpable in there as well, and hence why they have this story to cover their asses. Because remember, they got to think about Meadow at the same time. Now, Malaya's in this situation where this altercation happens and whatever, right? Now, Daniel could be correct that Malaya doesn't want to really, like, her and her mom probably don't get along the best. But she's probably at a point where she's in a controlling, hypothetically, allegedly, relationship, right? He's jealous. He's totally put her down. The whole, every single message. There's not one good message he says about Malaya, okay? And he's made himself out to be this freaking supersonic hero, impaling himself by going through the water, almost died 2 times. He's a pathological liar in my eyes, and he's full of it. And that's why today, I didn't care. I'm just saying my theory, because of the information coming out, I could be totally wrong. Right? I don't think so. I think that there's a lot of truth in this because Haley's spoken out, Logan's spoken out, and it's all like it's crumbling. It's all starting to unravel. But there was a point I was going to make when you started talking about Malaya. You said something, and I was going to answer you to that. You said something like, I don't think Malaya maybe is singing like a canary, but you said a reason for that. Do you remember what you said there?
Because they would be minimizing their own involvement at this point. Like if Malaya was trying to say what Daniel did wrong, then she would be minimizing, but we'd still see movement by the RCMP. Like we would still see something happening.
This is how I'm picturing it in my head, again, in my opinion. So I'm picturing that Malaya is telling the RCMP that she has sung to the RCMP, that her involvement, that she's culpable, but it's say Daniel's drugs that were the reason for the children's deaths. Now, I think that Malaya Shit, Charmaine, that's twice. Charmaine, come on now. Shit. It all came back to me. And I was like, no. Shit, Charmaine.
I'm going to forget.
I know.
They would start minimizing and start taking away their own culpability to put it all on.
Thank you, Kate. It's because I don't believe that Malaya actually know where the kids, like if they're unalive, ended up, right? Like that, say, little trike bike there. Here, let's put the boot print and blanket over here. But like Barry Murphy over there, it's go there. So I think it's one of those things that the $150,000 reward came up. They're looking for 2 bodies. And Malaya doesn't know exactly like where they would be, right? She doesn't know that part of it per se or exactly. So I think that I think that they have all this information, but they're trying to find the recovery of the children. And you guys, I've already had this discussion with Belinda. So no knocking me on this one because we already spoke about this earlier. So I know that her and I are very blunt with each other and very honest. Belinda does not believe that the children are alive herself. And, as much as she wants to put out hope, like anybody, she does not, in her gut, she does not believe that these children are alive. And it's just one of those things, right? So anyways, that's just the way I see it. Like I said, why do you have to lie? Why do you have to make all these reasons why that if they find this, why did I lie about the blanket? Because I didn't want RCMP. Okay. RCMP already said, Daniel, we believe that you had something to do with it. And he's out there going, no, I just passed the polygraph. Well, I didn't say that. Well, let's just say it was in my favor. Yeah, one question, maybe. I don't know. That's all I got to say about that. So, and yeah, other than that, like I said, I have every right to speak my thoughts. I think, to me, there's enough come out here that I was just able to go, well, hey, like, look, oh, what, bam, bam, bam. Why does somebody lie so much? Why? Tell me why. Poke holes in my theory, please. Poke holes. Tell me. I think that Daniel Malaya deserve reap whatever they sow out of all this. If there's involvement on their part, they're the ones that were in charge of looking after the kids. Simple as that. Who else are they going to blame it on? Seriously, right? I mean, they're the ones. So to me, it just becomes about all the lies that keep happening. But somebody please explain to me, if you could, with legit, like actual information. Please tell me, having receipts about Daniel's lies, why these lies have been so consistent about why would they find 2 sweaters? Why would you ever go into somebody's chat and be like, well, you know what? I made sure that RCMP knew day one that a bottle and freaking my t-shirts. Oh no, my sweaters, no, my t-shirts are missing. Why would he lie and say that that's not Lily's blanket? And then he says because he didn't want RCMP. And this is according to Darren. You guys, a lot of this information is coming from what Daniel has told Darren, according to Darren. Remember that. It's speculation. But this is my speculation. I think that it's a misdirect. Too many lies. You don't lie when children are missing. These little babies right here. These guys right here. Jack and Lily, right? Dolly, do you believe someone actually had the nerve to come into chat earlier today and say, why do you have to keep saying Jack and Lily? We get the point already, basically. Can you believe someone had the nerve to say that? No one would ever be that rude in true crime. Mean. I'm going to get a passport tomorrow. I just got my real ID. Guess what his real name is, by the way? Do you know his real name?
Jimmy.
Ah, good one. You do know. Yeah. But yeah, please, like, Dolly, I know you're a night owl and I'm a night owl too. So that's all good. Did he put his email here? You put your email here. If you don't email me at that crime shame, I'm going to email your ass. I usually don't go out of my way to do too much with content creators because people they backstab you like shit, and stuff like that. So I mostly keep to myself. I've come across some really nice people on this case, like Bev, right? Like Nova, on there, Astro by Lauren. I usually don't go on my way to do too much with content creators, but
oh,
whoa. You? Do you want me to say your name?
Janie and Justin owned a large, vicious dog on the illegal list in Canada, which would be a pit bull in Nova Scotia. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, chatters.
You know why?
Very, very, like, not every province in Canada has a banned dog list, but I believe for sure, the pit bull is on there. But that could explain why she did not want the RCMP going in her trailer.
That? Why didn't she? Why perhaps, according to Darren, she never took a polygraph test. Wonder how true that is.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but right now I'm just thinking about, like, she was worried about her dog.
No.
They would take the dog, and I believe if you're not legally allowed to have a banned dog, they probably would have euthanized it. So we could
think about this.
Could explain away the whole not wanting the RCMP to see the dog.
Let me talk on that for a second. So Belinda said that she knows for a fact that there was a large dog in that trailer, because you know how large dogs are like woof, 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 right? And little dogs are like right? So that's one of Belinda's pet peeves is that
Chad is saying there's no banned breeds in Nova Scotia. So, I mean, it was just an avenue. So there we go.
Okay, but let's just say this though. Let's just say that there was hypothetically, okay? Hypothetically. Belinda, she asked, and according to Jenny, has a little yipper yapper dog, right? Or some Heinz 57, right? Like what my mom called our dog. Belinda's like, no, Sonny. There was this dog that would not start barking, and it had a deep voice. And then people showed, I think, Justin's dog. But and then Belinda had asked, right, like to Daniel, like, did your mom have a dog like just with in the trailer? And her answer back was no. And she's like, nah, Sonny, I know there was a big dog there. I didn't see it, but I believe her daughter and that got a glimpse of this dog on there. And then somebody did put in chat about the species being not allowed to have and stuff like that. Now I don't know shit all about Nova Scotian dogs and stuff like that, right? So I don't know. All I know is that Daniel lied to Belinda and said that Janie didn't wake up, the dog didn't bark or nothing. That whole story changed because she goes, Sonny, I know what Daniel told me. And there was nothing about Janie waking up and the dog barking and she said that dog barks like all the time. That dog, she goes, it didn't stop. Actually, I think we heard Haley say that, or Cheryl say that as well. Cheryl actually said that as well. Like, meaning, so again, total lie. Why? You guys, you have to ask yourself why. Let's not be mind blocked here because you think that Daniel's the best person in the world, or that, because there's no best Daniel and best Malaya at the end of the day. It's poor Lily and Jack. That's what it is. But come on, like, just think about the information that we've shown you guys. I mean, maybe because we remember it more because we've put it out there, but just think of all the lies, that stuff that Daniel told Belinda that was not factual, right? And she's like, no, Sonny, he said this. Think about the lies that he's literally said on interviews now when he talks about the 911 call and how he comes out of the woods. Think about somebody trying. What?
People are taking something that I said, and I did not mean that I'm trying to throw out a scenario where the dog attacked the kids and they were covering it up. Come on, that's not what I was saying. I was strictly that could be why Janie did not want the RCMP to enter her trailer. End of story. End of story. I do not think that the kids were mauled by a dog on the property. Please don't go places and say that. Please.
I don't even know where they got that from.
It started, and I had to.
Joe? Is he being the shit disturber there?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Joe. It wasn't Joe. I mean, it was a scenario that it's not like I hadn't heard it before. But I did not say that, and that's not why I brought the dog thing up. It was just because she didn't want the RCMP in her trailer. That's all.
You know, bottom line is, again, let's just get still real on this. You know, when there's absolute proof of lying going on, why would you ever lie unless you're freaking hiding something and you're so selfish that you care about your ass being grass if you get caught instead of Jack and Lily? That's exactly what I see going on here. Okay, there's no need to lie when 2 children are missing. If you're lying, it's because you're hiding the truth. It's that simple. This is Jack and Lily, 2 children missing. So that's the part. I don't give a flying fucker about Daniel or Malaya when it comes to whatever charges might or might not come against them. I'm just looking at where could Jack and Lily be? Are they off on a reservation, hiding? I don't believe so whatsoever. If you choose to believe that, that's fine. That's your thoughts. That's okay. Just like my thoughts, again, are my thoughts. But let's be realistic a little bit about it all, right? There's lying going on. Yes, there's lying from both sides, Malay and Daniel, right? But are the kids, with all these people that would know about it, do you don't think that someone would come forward? You don't think that if the police, with all the digital data that they have for tracking, at least in the closer towns and stuff, that honestly, if they thought that they were hidden, they would have been on their doorstep by now? Because it's not. Because it's not true. Daniel and that, they want you to look this way, and they come into the chat, type in a bunch of bullshit because they can't come up on lives. This live, that live, Hidden in the Fog's live, Dolly's live, whichever, right?
Everybody's live. They're not supposed to engage, or he's not supposed to engage.
Oh yeah, that was his
the first thing he does. When he lets everybody know he's here, he's engaging because he needs the attention. He needs the he needs the what is it? He needs to know that people support him.
Right.
Like he's, according to
amongst
someone who knows him, he is very insecure and needs that support.
He needs affirmation. Yes. But the thing is, the problem with this is that Daniel has made himself clearly out to be the freaking best person ever, that he brought Malaya into this palace of a trailer court, right? And yes, and Belinda said it looks just as crappy on the outside. She didn't say those words exactly. I asked her simply, does the inside, is it just as bad as the outside? She said yes. Why? Because she's been in there, okay? She went into the woods and she's like, Sonny, there's no way. Now, in saying that, there are a bunch of trails in there, I've heard it, you know, for ATVs to go through, you know, stuff like that. ATVs to ride on. Then you come back and you wash it up, spick and span, you know, probably throw some, of course, bleach on it and stuff like that. And just like Bev said, like it's hard not to overlook a big freaking shining cherry apple in your eye when you got the shit home right behind it, and then you see this shiny, look like it's just been cleaned. All I'm saying is myself is that to me the truth is unraveling. I'm glad. Thank you everyone for speaking up. Darren, be pissed off at me all you want. Again, I'm not here to follow your agenda. I was just here to give you a voice and have still my own opinions about it. And I would think that you would respect that as a person that cares about Jack and Lily, that I can have my separate voice as well, right? But anyways, you guys, I'm going to get ready to end this live in a minute. Got me all worked up a little bit here. That's true. That's true, right? I think that this is going to come down to drugs. The children were unalived on the property through an accident. I don't believe it was something planned, that it was an accident. And now it's just lies and a cover up. And now it's just someone spinning a narrative, okay? And I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. I don't give a shit ass if Daniel doesn't come and talk on this live. Look at, he's been playing that game with us for what, about a month now of stuff like that, okay? All he does, including Janie, they won't answer my messenger at all. They won't go on Hidden in the Fog, right? You don't see them speaking up, going on Dolly Vision either. Why is that? You have to ask yourself why that Daniel, knowing that he's told Darren about all these lies, why won't he bring himself up? He tried to use the excuse of, well, major crime, is, doesn't want us to put certain No. We're talking about just clearing up the stuff that you've talked about. But you keep playing those games, Daniel. Like I said, because if you have anything at all to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance, and then you have to live with that and deal with whatever consequences come for you. And if you're telling the truth, then you're doing a bad job because you've lied so many times. How could anyone take you seriously? You're trying to use chats to sit there and propagate your lies.
Well, that's the whole thing about
for it.
Darren and how Darren got involved. He is literally the voice box for Daniel's theory. And I'm going to call it a theory because narrative is a better word, I suppose, because I'll leave it at that. But Darren was meant to be a voice box. He had no problem getting up and talking his truth.
Exactly. And I appreciate that, right? Because I think it's only fair to look at every angle. I think it's only fair to look at if this could have been possible or if that could have been possible. But the fact is that because Darren stirred the pot, it's propagating other family members to come out. And now they're like, hey, I can't let that person lie. I can't let Logan just say this. Hey, I'm going to tell you some more truth that Logan didn't tell you. Hey, and you know what? For the most part, I believe it. Why? Because people get like that. Their egos get in a bunch a bit, and they just want the truth out there. They're like, you know what? We're sick and tired of listening to Daniel Martell acting like he's freaking, gonna die on the sword for these children. You know how many times that man has said that he's gonna keep looking for them for the rest of his life? Cough. Let me just upchuck a cat hairball right there. Seriously. At first I was trying to give him credit for being truthful. You've told too many lies by this point. So, I just wanted you to come clear it up. But I know that you wouldn't because you're lying. Simple as that, Daniel. So you can take your lies and stick them up your butt for all I care because I'm over your stupid games. I'm here for Jack and Lily, and whatever happens to you guys, any repercussions, like I said, let karma come bite you in the ass and deal with it. And we just want to fight for Jack and Lily and answers. And that is the focus. Malaya been postpartum depression and could have been self-medicating, perhaps. You know what? Again, there's a couple scenarios here, about this. But, and you guys, again, whether they were self-medicated at night and somehow like they gave them too much, whatever it is, all I know is that when people are lying, that means that they're hiding something. And when you're talking about missing 2 children and you're going to lie and make and twist up stories and keep twisting it. And you know how it is, guys, at the start is where the most truth is. And then as things come out, obviously they got more time to think about how they're going to say something or do this or do that. They got time to spin. Daniel's using the press, to his advantage, right? He's not the biggest dumbass in the world, but he's not the smartest ass in the world either at the end of the day, right? Again, he must think that people in true crime just fell off the turnip truck there. And unfortunately, that's not the case. Most people see these games that are going on. If you're somebody that doesn't follow true crime, and this is your first time into a case really with Jack and Lily, like I said, have some heed with channels that have been in this for quite a long time, that know these type of games, see them, we watch the cases all the time, the person that kills the wife or takes the children's life. I didn't do nothing. The wife breaks down. Okay, fine. We didn't, husband still sitting there in the interrogation room going, no, wait, what did she say? Oh, she's blaming me? Oh, no. She was the one, right? But anyway, Charmaine, do you have anything else to say tonight?
No.
No. I think I'm good.
We kind of went sideways a little bit when Daniel entered the chat. And then when Darren got upset, we've kind of been all over the place, and I apologize for that. But I think we got new thoughts out, and I can honestly say that I've been very skeptical of Daniel since about 3 days after my conversation with him.
Yeah.
And I haven't favored since. It's gotten much worse since. Much worse.
Tell everyone what your exact words were, actually.
I remember which exact words. Like, it's not a lot.
Yeah. Well, let me remind you, because I thought it was funny as shit. She basically said something like, "That fucking guy thinks he's gonna play me for a fool. He's got another thing coming."
Well, because so when you're in a 20-year relationship with a narcissistic,
personality,
insecure, aggressive, abusive, complete manipulator, you're used to that's how you're programmed, right? So, like, honestly, you guys, I was ready to offer this kid a job. I was going to bring him to Alberta. I was going to set him up with a $40 an hour job. I was going to get his life on track. I was going to help fix him.
I know, it pisses you off now, doesn't it?
Like, you wouldn't believe. Like, you would, because he got me. He got me. And I'm sorry, Vanessa, but I just see he got me. He got me good.
He got us both at the start, But I was willing, at the start, you're just kind of taking what we got. But boy, and then there was a point a couple of weeks ago where I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit there and let people keep talking. Darren stirring some shit pot out there, type of thing. It's pissing family members off. People are coming out of the woodwork. And it became, because it was always about Jack and Lily. But at the start, we were trying to give Daniel the benefit of the doubt and stuff, like, because I'm just like, but he's doing everything that somebody should. But then to me, once I realized that he was one of those covert, pathological liars to me, then I was like, oh, you're one of those ones. You're one of those ones that you can actually make people feel sorry for you, when really you're nothing but probably a controller. Well, we'll just leave it at that. Nice controlling relationship. Malaya, I want you back underneath the waterfall to the old Daniel. The nicer Daniel. The Daniel that probably wasn't on any drugs, hypothetically, allegedly, on there, that one. Okay. I can sit there and go along about his lies all day long. Is it true Janie told Daniel that she saved him from jail with her story she told there? You know what? I can't remember where that came from. I know that it came out, and I don't remember, to be honest with you. It could have been in something I think Darren was telling. It could have been, but I'm not sure. I would literally have to go back myself. I just want to know one thing, you guys. What's about this Netflix? Was there legitly Daniel Martell comment about Netflix?
I didn't see a thing, but I mean, I've been out of the loop.
I was just asking for proof.
So much happened.
Like, let me just say, if he even said something like that, shocking, narcissist, shocker, they're coming after me for Netflix deals and everything. Wait, what? Jack and Lily, who? What? Oh no, Netflix deal? Attention seeker. So if he did say something like that, that's really pathetic, to be honest. That's disgusting, actually.
Was that what that was? Somebody said he claimed that Netflix wants a...
Yeah, something like that. I think they said it was in Clutch Them Pearls. Something like that. Yeah. So, wow. Yeah, anyways, whatever. Like I said, let the cards fall where they may. Again, we're allowed to have theories and opinions. Just like Daniel can sit there and try to pretend like he's a truthologist, out there and stuff like that. And Janie couldn't be asked to answer anything either. So to me, she's not a stand-up woman at all. If she's one of these stand-up mothers, wouldn't she stand up for her son and come speak as well? But no, you guys are going to use the excuse of all this stuff that, Major Crime Unit doesn't want you to say this. Yeah, how many times has Daniel said in the chat, I shouldn't be saying this. I think I'm playing with fire. Shut up. Shut the front door. Don't care. Play your games. How are you? If you're not hearing me, you're going to have to rewatch the live on this one, because I don't think anyone else is having volume issues at all. Okay, Daylene? Okay, guys. Mama Angie, thank you for becoming a member. And Non, thank you for Jack and Lily prayers, the $10 super chat. Lost family, did you make a video, Daniel, with Justin? Did you? Just just FYI, if you could just email me in the inbox there, that would be great. Justin, just so you know, Daniel, it's at crimingshame@gmail.com. Thank you. If you want to talk, we'll listen. Actually, no, I probably don't anymore. I mean, somebody keeps lying. What do I even want to talk to them for? He's not willing to come up. He's just hiding. And yeah, he's cowardly. It's cowardly because again, this is a game. He's playing a game. All right. He's playing a game in the Facebook groups, you know.
I don't know that it, to me, I don't see it that way. I see it as he's so very insecure.
Well, that too.
He needs the public to support him.
Right. But I mean, I see it as a game because to me, he's lying anyway. So now he's just trying to make it believable. He's getting us to try to, I shouldn't be saying this. But you're right. Bottom line is he's insecure and an attention seeker. You know, that's the gist of his personality. Right. And so, you know, for him, again, insecure people, me and Charmaine, both, you guys, a lot of people out there have been in these detrimental, controlling, abusive relationships. Right. So it's one of those things that when you've been through it, you know exactly the signs that are going on there. Right. You know what? Everyone makes their own choices. Malaya made her choice. Daniel makes his choice. Everyone makes their own choices. And I will never, ever blame anyone else for my own choices that I made. I've learned from them, but I won't blame anybody for my choices. True crime. Oh, wait, Heather, thank you so much. True crime 11111111. Charmaine, what does 1111 mean?
I don't know.
Jermaine. It means your sunny angel.
I know what it means. I just don't want to. I don't know.
Well, me and my husband always will say make a wish whenever it's 11:11, but really it was supposed to be that your angels are speaking.
It's supposed to basically so basically if you continually see 11:11 and that doesn't count because that's the name of a person that's regularly in. But if you see 11:11 on the clock, or my phone number happens to be 11:11, so that doesn't count either. But if you see, like, randomly look at the clock and it's 11:11 or 2:22 or 3:33, if you see that kind of number, it's supposed to be like almost like a deja vu. You're in the right place at the right time. All the planets are aligning and the universe is loving you and all of that.
There was an easier answer. Your angels are around you.
Make a wish.
Well, that too. That's what me and my husband always say. Right.
That's why I didn't want to answer, because it goes a little bit deeper than all that.
Yeah, I'm deep. I'm deep, deep, deep. You're the one that bought me this.
Because I hope it works better than your old one. That's why.
That's right. That other one was broken. Couldn't tell shit. Worth nothing. Anyways, hi Canadian S. How are you? Daphne's Files, nice seeing you in here. 1111, nice seeing you in here. Dolly Vision, nice seeing you in here. Nova was in here. If Bev happens to see this, hi Bev, how are you? Thank you guys all for being here. Again, you guys, we are Lily and Jack's army. It's about them before anybody else. Remember that. It's about answers. It's about truth. The more we bring awareness, the more we put pressure on it, right? The more that people will get tired of maybe having knowledge and feeling guilty. The truth will come out in this case, guys. It will. Just give it time. It will come out, right? Anyways, you guys have a great night. Again, don't forget to watch the tribute video, the one that's out separately for Jack and Lily. And if you guys could just give it a like and share. The one thing that Belinda's always consistently asked is just putting their faces out there and and bringing awareness to Jack and Lily. And of course, don't forget about the fundraiser that you guys can go do as well. Bracelets, keychains, and all that stuff. Now, Charmaine, I can't do a live for 2 days because I have to work 12 to 8.
Oh, no.
And I ain't getting up early for anybody. I'm sleeping into the bitter time. I have to get up at 10:30.
Well, I have to work when we're done here, and then I have an audit in the morning, and then I should be free for the rest of the week, other than more house building. Only without 11 house guests. So.
I was going to say, I got my wedding anniversary on Friday. Ain't nobody taking that one away from me, not even you guys, all right? Oh, there's husband. One sec.
I don't know. Chat seems to be going really quick. I think I'm tired. I think I'm worn out, you guys. I am very worn out. See, look at that. 12-12, 11-11, 10-10. Like, y'all are exactly where you're supposed to be.
I was going to say, the other number I always see? 1234. 1234. And then this one day, not too long ago, Charmaine, I called my husband, and I happened to look at my phone, and it was 1234. When he answers it, for some reason, randomly, he goes, 1234. And I'm like, how did you know I was just thinking that? It's because we're connected. 21-year age gap, but we're connected, people, on there.
I used to be totally into the 11-11 thing until like 15 years ago. I got my phone number is 11-11, so I'm like, it ruins it for me.
They're like, are you in a taxi? Probably with that type of number. Yeah.
Luckily, I don't get any like wrong numbers.
Cindy,
but I do get a lot of weird looks when I give my phone number, like to, I don't know, or Den or something, and they need my account, and I tell them my number. They look at me, they like give me a stink eye, like I'm lying to them or something.
She had CPS took the Meadow. She broke her order. Why would she do that? Probably because she didn't want Daniel to have visitations. Who knows what the actual reason is? Let me just say, I guess when you're
clearly, because we know that that's going to cost us our own custody of Meadow. So keep that in mind when we're thinking that Malaya is so calculated and she can get away with hiding her kids for this long, when if that was her motive, she was protecting, she didn't want Daniel to get visitation rights, so her answer was to put her own custody at risk. This woman is not a mastermind of hiding 2 children from the entire country. She's just not. Didn't happen. And then smart enough to keep her mouth shut and nobody else say anything about it at all. Like not a peep. Didn't happen. I was willing to wait, hold my breath and wait. After Darren said he was going to the RCMP, I said, well, if it's true, just a matter of time. But then after that, we come out with the whole, well, she had to contact the second car that was coming to pick her up and tell them not to come. But the RCMP got their phones that day. So they would have known that. So it didn't happen, you guys. I'm sorry, but it didn't happen.
Didn't happen, Charmaine.
No.
Okay, I gotta go. Husband wants to do some laundry, apparently. Okay. I'm like, could have done it earlier. But whatever. Got time. Okay, you guys, I keep scrolling. You guys have just been talking up a storm, so I'm sorry. You guys talk. I'm still scrolling. Shit, Charmaine. Dang.
That's why I get so far behind, because I'm busy reading chat and I don't hear what you're saying, or vice versa.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start from the top. Joe, he's such a smart ass on there. Hi, Mark. How are you? Okay, you guys, with that being said, I think I'm going to play out the Come Home Jack and Lily as we leave tonight. But thank you guys for being here. I won't be doing a live definitely for 2 nights. Unless something absolutely major happens, I'll have to beg my work to let me not. But other than that, please, prayers for Jack and Lily. Hit that like, hit that share. Thank you for Belinda for being in here tonight as well. Belinda's in pretty much every. Chelsea Gray, thank you as well. That's Belinda's daughter. Fight for justice, for answers. Lily and Jack's army. Remember that, guys. That's who we are. That's what we're representing, is Lily and Jack's army. And this is what it's about. So beyond the noise, beyond our theories and thoughts, Jack and Lily, they deserve the answers. They deserve, absolutely. Thank you, Chelsea. You have a good rest of your night over there. You guys stay blessed. And we'll see who else maybe speaks out or comes forward or whatever. All I know is Jack and Lily deserve answers. That's the bottom line. And people that care about Jack and Lily deserve the answers. Anyways, you guys, take care. Have a good night. I'm going to play this like set off the screen. So I think I got to take this down, bring this up. You want to say goodnight, Charmaine?
Good night, Charmaine. Good night, everybody.
And someone had sent me this beautiful song called Come Home, Jack and Lily. And I wanted to do Belinda, and I wanted to do Alana King, and all you guys out there. This beautiful little video to attach to it. Thank you so much for the person who wrote the poem. Thank you for fighting for Jack and Lily's army. Please hit the like and the share. Thank you so much.
In the quiet dawn of a May morning, two little hearts went out to play. Lily's laughter, Jack's small footsteps vanished with the breaking day. Come home, Jack and Lily, we're praying for your steer. The woods are deep and silent, but our love will draw you near. Through forest paths and endless trees, searchers called your names aloud. Hope flickered in the morning breeze as prayers rose up to the clouds. Jack and Lily, we're praying for your steer. The woods are deep and silent, but our love will draw you near. Sunsets over Pictou County,